Secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most
that you change your mind.
Voter fraud. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're heavy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're heavy because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the boxing debate arena. Jesus Christ. Fucking winter. Alright guys, thank you for joining us in Brit Sports 2 Little. I will send you a link in just a few seconds. Elias in the chat. Paja, Rick, I am all boxing, Blues Boxing. Thank you very much for joining us. Stu is already, he's right. 5 dislikes, not even started the show yet. That's right. Some people are already getting to their feelings. I haven't even said anything yet. But get ready. Before we continue, I just want to tell you guys to please like and subscribe. Also, if you can donate, there's a tip jar on the left side of your screen. Don't be shy. Also, you get some... we're starting to have some merchandise. You can click the link in the description and it will take you to this store called Teespring. And yeah, we have some merchandise, so check it out, guys. Alright, let's get started. Let's get Stu in here. Where is Stu? The fuck? Oh yeah, phone lines are open, people. Call in. Phone lines, and we're gonna put some StreamYard links. I want everybody to get involved. Alright, Stu, are you there? Alright.
Yeah, I'm in.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm in.
Perfect. So, this is the topic, guys. Is this welterweight division, this era, post 2015, post Mayweather Pacquiao, this welterweight era, how good is it? You know, because to be honest, I'm starting to get very disappointed with these guys. I just read that Crawford said that he's tired of calling out these other welterweights. Basically, he will stop calling these other welterweights in the division, and he says, if it happens, I guess meaning the big fights. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. That doesn't sound to me like a guy that really cares about legacy. Well, maybe I'm wrong, and you guys can correct me. Stu, are you there? I'll ask Stu what he thinks. All right, he's probably getting a cup of tea. What do you guys think about this comment?
I mean, a bit of fucking phone went on to being saved.
Yeah, no, I was telling people before we get into the whole welterweight division thing. Crawford made this comment where he said that he's tired of calling out his welterweights, and when it comes to the big fights, you know, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. What does that tell you about the guy?
Probably, it could be frustration as well, you know. And we've seen it time and time where a guy, just keeps calling out these guys, and no one wants to fight him. You know, what can you do? You can't beg someone to fight you. You know, what do you want him to do? You can't say, "Please fight me." No, of course, you know, can't. At the end of the day, you can make the offer, whether they take it or not. That's on them. And I think he's just getting frustrated because not a lot of these guys do want to fight him. I mean, Spence talks about him, but never really seems to want to get things done either. So,
Right, but
I don't know, man.
yeah. But then Spence fans, they claim that it's Crawford that doesn't want to fight. So, I mean, who's right, who's wrong? I don't know. All I know is that these fights are not happening. Well, this big fight. And let's get... Some people are going to, say, oh, no, Butcher, you're wrong, because we did have Thurman Garcia. We did have Sean Porter Garcia, Sean Porter Thurman. We're going to look at that. Because to be honest, those fights should have taken place a long time ago. Before they happened. This is what I want to do. I want to break down each fighter's career and see how good they are actually. Because in my opinion, this welterweight division isn't that great.
There's a guy I've just had to time someone out because he's moaning about swearing. I can't remember what I said, but this is a fucking 18. This is an 18 show. I mean, if you get offended by swearing, you're in the wrong place. We're not here to pander to snowflakes. So if you get, like I said, if a little swear word offends you, do one. You're not welcome here.
Can't believe it.
Oh, I'm sick to his stomach. It's fucking 10 o'clock at night. These guys are on a boxing channel, yet they're getting offended by a swear word. I mean, that's what happens when you've got nothing to live for in life. You just get offended.
I mean, that's what bothers you. Like, seriously, that's all this shit that's happening in the world.
I know.
And this is what,
yeah,
pisses you off. Amazing.
But it's people like him is why we've got Sky Sports apologising for everything.
We apologise for the language.
Oh, mate, Sky Sports are apologising for everything, It's not Sky Sports if you're not hearing an apology somewhere or about something. There's always someone whining, ringing in, crying about something. And these are the sort of people we're dealing with, This is boxing, This is where boxing comes from. This comes from the gutters. This is the sleaziest sport around.
This isn't like tennis.
It's been run by the mafia, Don King, people like these, the Hearns. These are the people that have run boxing, or been powerhouses in boxing. And look at these people.
I remember when
we got a bunch of lovers. We got a bunch of lovers, not fighters.
Hey, you know what? I remember that when in the UK when they had, I don't know if it was when Carl Froch fought Groves or when Joshua fought Klitschko. Anyways, those fights were at Wembley Stadium. And I remember, I think Prince Harry wanted to go. Or Prince William, one of those. And apparently they didn't want them, like they were telling him not to go because it was dangerous, right? But I'm pretty sure they can attend, a tennis tournament or something like. But when it comes to boxing, I mean, they're telling them basically like, nah, it's not a good idea. So that's what you get with boxing.
Well, yeah, look, especially in the UK. I mean, if you go to a lot of the small events, then there's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of fighting going on in the crowd. A lot. It's constantly kicking off in the UK. You don't really see a lot of the small events, so you probably don't see. I mean, obviously the big events, they've got a lot of security there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm pretty sure nothing would have happened, but still, they told them like, if maybe, I mean, or maybe it's not a good look for the guy, or who knows, man. But they obviously don't see boxing as a sport that's meant for blue-blooded fuckers.
The tops have always looked down on boxing because boxing is a way for poor people to become as rich as them, if you want to put it like that. It's a way out of the streets, isn't it, boxing?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's people's only way out of the streets. I know boxing does a lot of damage to people. I know it does. But look at the good boxing. I mean, the discipline side of it, the healthy eating side of it, the training. So keeping yourself fit is always a good thing. And then when you're in a good place mentally, you don't want to be going on the streets shooting people and fucking selling drugs. Do you know what I mean? Boxing gets people away from that shit. Obviously, it drags people in as well. It depends, of your character. But it's a good thing. Boxing does a lot of good for a lot of young lads. Do you know what I mean? And so I don't know why these fucking toughs that have never been in a fight in their life. The only thing them guys are fighting is their fucking sexuality, innit? Let's be real. So, what do they know about the fucking
Well,
being
they
punched
think
in the
boxing
face?
is savage. Yet they do
Yeah, well, it's not savage.
they
It's
do
not
their
savage.
like
I tell you what's savage. These same people that think boxing is savage will quite happily go fox hunting and
I
stuff.
was gonna say
these
that, man. You stole my. I was about to say fox hunting. That's so fucking funny. Yeah, I saw like a video on the internet. Pretty fucking sick. Like
It's for their fucking sickos, mate. And look, let's be real, most of them are perverts as well. I mean, these are the people. Well, they are, aren't they? Come on, they're pervy fucking sickos, man. So look, I don't want to hear about what's barbaric and what's not. All I know is I like watching people get punched in the face. I always have done since a young age. I mean, I was putting on boxing.
All right, here we go. All right, I think we're back. Yeah, we're back. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. Let's just wait for everybody to come back.
Yeah, apparently I must have been repeating myself about the gloves. I mean, apparently people say it kept looping to the glove bit, but yeah, I mean that's where we are with it.
Wesley in the chat says Stu is going too hard. The stream can handle it.
Stream can't handle it. Yeah, that's it, man.
All right, what I wanted to talk about, we're back. So what is this welterweight division? How good is it? Exactly. And so the welterweights that I'm focusing on is Crawford, Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia. And just to put things into context, people, Terence Crawford is 33 years old, Spence is 30 years old, Thurman is 32, Sean Porter is 33, and Danny Garcia is 32. So let's take it away. Gonzalo. This welterweight division.
They're a little...
Yes.
They seem to be a little bit older, right? And they haven't established the greatest of acumens, resumes by this age, right? And they weren't willing to take that oath many a times. So, they didn't challenge themselves like they should have. A lot of talent that went unfulfilled. It's not that they're not good. It's just that they weren't willing to risk a lot because they were afraid to lose that Owen Mayweather era, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times they didn't fight more than once. I don't think they even fought twice. A lot of these years, going back like 5 years to like 2015, sometimes they only fought once, and maybe sometimes none at all. So that's why guys like Sean Porter they're not the greatest, but kind of like not even elite, just a level below that. I wouldn't say mediocre, but that went around and around robin and they get more credit than the guys that are actually better that didn't really challenge themselves, like Terence Crawford and maybe Errol Spence if you want to include the accident and all. So stuff like that.
That's true. And Crawford, he came up from the lightweight division. Keith Thurman didn't, Spence didn't, Sean Porter didn't. No, he wasn't at 140, right? No, I don't think so. Danny Garcia did move up from 140. So, you know what? Danny Garcia has a pretty good resume, though, compared to the other guys. What do you guys think? Because I was looking at Danny Garcia's record, and listen, by the age of 23, 24, he was already fighting Kendall Holt, Nate Campbell, Amir Khan, Morales, although Morales was, fighting at 140 at that point, but still, he still had the skills. And then he fought Sab Judah. I mean, I know Stu hates Sab Judah. I think he could have been more than what he was, but still, he was a decent boxer.
You didn't hate Zab Judah. I just don't have any time for guys that try to find a way out when it's not going their way. And Zab Judah did that numerous times for me.
Not against Danny.
Always cried foul play when the decision didn't go against him, or when he got stopped, like Costa Zoo. I mean, he got up. He did the fucking Trevor Berbick, didn't he? Got up.
No, that was
fucking did a dance and all sorts.
Jane 80 fucked it up.
And he made out that was a premature stoppage. I tell you what,
he was.
He'd still been in a coma now if that fight had carried on. Come
was.
on, man. I mean,
He has to give the guy some
then
time.
look,
What is
he
he
made
stopping?
Amir Khan look like a monster in there that night, didn't he? Amir Khan hit him with a good body shot for me, right on the. It was on the line. It was on the belt line. I'll give you that, but it was legal for me. Zab Judah curls up in the ball, crying foul play. You could tell he wasn't hurt. He kept looking up to see what was happening. Fucking absolute joke.
Well, that tell you about Danny Garcia? Because Danny Garcia had trouble with Judah. Actually, Judah started coming on the second part of the fight. So, no, I mean, I know what you mean. But in that fight,
he came to fight. That fight.
Yeah, he came to fight. He actually hurt Danny at some point. But it's too. I'm not saying that that's true. I mean, yeah, there's many instances where Judah, I mean, he quit basically, or yeah. But against Danny Garcia, I think it was a good performance on Judah. Anyways,
also Lucas Matisse came to fight.
Yeah,
he fought Danny Garcia.
And then that's the fight after Judah was Matisse. So that was, at that point, that Danny Garcia, 23, 24, 25 years of age, it was looking pretty good for that guy. All right, because then we're gonna get to Spence, and I looked at his record when he was 23, 24, 25. I don't know who the fuck he was fighting. All right, so we're going to get to that. By the way, Ken Shiro, thank you for your contribution. He says, can Conor Ben fill Kell Brook and Amir Khan's shoes? All right, let's answer that quickly. I'll give that to Stu, because he's from the UK. Stu, Conor Ben, can he fill Kell Brook's and Amir Khan's shoes?
Oh, that's a tough one. Problem, I don't know, man. I mean, look. Would you pick Conor Ben right now, or even in a couple of years, to beat Spence or Crawford? That's the question, because they need to be you need to be winning a title to be compared with them guys. And can Conor Ben win a title? Well, wait, I don't know. Can he beat Pacquiao? I doubt that.
No,
can he beat Spence and Crawford? No, I mean, no. If look, Conor Ben. He's improving. He's the most improved fighter in the UK at the moment, probably for me. He's improving all the time, getting better and better, but he's still miles off what he needs to be. I mean, this guy's had fights with journeymen, and he's made it close. Where the guy could have got the nod and stuff. So even when he's fighting guys that are low level, he struggled at times and made it hard work in there for himself. So yeah, look, I mean. Look, the welterweight division is a divas division. This is why we don't know who the best guy is, because none of them want to fight each other. And Conor Ben will fight any of these guys. Whether he wins is a different story. And for me, I just think he's just I don't know, man.
Americans in the chat.
Khan overachieved for me. I mean, Khan overachieved. And listen, he had good matchmaking. Let's just say that. I mean, who did he won the title off? Kotelnik, I believe. I mean, the weakest guy around at the time, And all right, he fought some good guys, but every time he fought someone half decent, it was hell for him. He was either getting knocked the fuck out, or he was like Madonna, where he was fucking on his. Well, let's be real, should have been stopped. So he never really beat anyone good convincingly, did he?
Mm-hmm.
It was always a struggle. I mean, he was hanging on for dear life against Madonna, weren't he? I mean, how he didn't get. Even the commentators in the UK were screaming, "Hang on, Amir, hang on!" Do you know what I mean? They just knew he was going to get knocked the fuck out at any time. But he managed to get through that one. But look, Kell Brook had one good night at the office against Sean Porter, and then what? I mean, look, this guy. The most disappointing thing for me in British boxing, Kell Brook, is just I just don't know what to say about the guy. Or I'd
we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens with.
Yeah, he looked really good against Porter, and but he just never. When the momentum was there, he just never took it. He never went on. He wasted camps fighting bums. And then just went missing for years. And then he gets stabbed, and then he gets in with Golovkin, gets smashed to pieces, and then he comes back.
Okay, so what are you saying, Stu?
So what gets in with Spence, gets smashed to pieces again. I mean, come on, man. So look,
hey, you're talking about Kell Brook, who's Spence's biggest win. You're shitting on Kell Brook, so you're shitting on Spence and his win, his biggest win.
Kell Brook, he just doesn't. For me, he's very talented, but I just don't think he's got much stomach in him. I mean, look.
So he's a bad boxer.
I mean, look, he quit against Golovkin, which I don't blame him. He should never have took the fight, but he quit. Let's be real, he quit. He was looking for a way out. I know they threw in the towel, but just look at him. He was looking. He wanted out of there, mate. Trust me. I know when a fight wants out of there. And the same with Spence. I mean, look, Crawford. I mean, as soon as he got hurt, mate, was he complaining that the fight got stopped? No. Did he have to try and get composed and try and keep himself in the fight? No. He wanted to get knocked out, just to get out of there. It seemed he just lost his heart for the game. So look, are we really setting Conor Benn high standards here when we talk about Khan and Brook? And the answer is no.
Let's take a phone call. 954, you're on the air. 954. Hold on, because you're muted. All right, go ahead.
Hey guys, it's Jay from 954. It's been a while. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? We're good, man. What's on your mind?
Well, you guys talk about the welterweight division. I was just going to weigh in on the whole thing. So when I came in, you guys were kind of talking about where Danny Garcia is or was, and then compared to Porter, Thurman, and even Spence.
Mm-hmm.
I think where they fought as amateurs needs to be brought into picture on this. Sean Porter was a middleweight. That's over 165 pounds. He fought almost a super middleweight as an amateur, and trained his way back down to 147. Thurman and Spence both fought at 69 kilograms. Stu, help me out with that. Isn't that roughly around 152 pounds?
52 kilograms times 2.2. I don't know.
Yeah, well, so but I mean that's almost junior middleweight. So I mean, and then they trained their way back down to 147. Danny Garcia, I do believe, fought at 139 pounds and moved his way up. So he was a junior welterweight all the way through. If I am correct, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But he's definitely the smaller guy and is able to hold his own with these guys to an extent, which speaks a lot about his volume, his chin, and his heart. But his record at welterweight, his resume altogether is good. But his resume at welterweight is not good. I mean, he beat Guerrero, and of note, that's about it. He was in tough fights, but he wasn't in any fight that people clearly. I'm sorry, I didn't hear any of that.
No, go ahead. Can you hear us?
I thought someone was saying something.
No, go ahead.
So yeah, and at the end of the day, at welterweight, he's in the mix based off of what he did at 140, but not for anything he did at 147.
That's a good point.
So I just think, and when you mentioned some of the names that he fought at 140, I'm not going to take anything away from what he did, because he, like Terrence Crawford, did an amazing job with what was in front of him. But he wasn't filled with like a division of Roger Mayweather, Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker, Evan Rosario, like those guys were. They both fought B+ fighters and exposed those B+ fighters by being the A fighter.
Yep, that's a good point.
Just wanted to point that out, that their record at 140 was solid, but it wasn't. There was a single A+ fighter between the two of them on either one of their resumes at 140 pounds.
Yeah, good point. And Danny at 147, because basically that's what we're gonna be looking at here on this show. Like you said, it's not that impressive. I mean, the Lamont Peterson fight, was that at 140, 147? That was at 147, right?
It was a catchweight.
A catchweight, yeah. It's okay.
It was above one. It was a welterweight fight above 140 pounds, but neither one of them weighed anywhere close to 147.
Peterson, Robert Guerrero. I mean, come on. No, he didn't fight Paulie. Samuel Vargas.
Danny Garcia.
No, he fought Paulie.
Garcia.
Yeah.
Failed to impress at 147. You know, he's had this guy. How many opportunities is this guy going to get?
Good point.
I mean, he's got to be the luckiest fighter in boxing. He has to be, because this guy can go in there and fail to deliver time and time again. He keep getting his opportunities. I mean, how many title shots has this guy had? And look, all right, he was a good fighter at 140. He was, you know, but let's not pretend Khan was piecing him up before he fucking. All he was doing was spamming the left hook button.
Yeah,
all night, wasn't he? Just spamming. That's all he was doing, spamming the left hook button, and one landed eventually. But look, Danny's never. Like I said, Zab Judah looked like fucking Marvin Hagler in there that night. Lamont Peterson, I mean, he was like a machine that night, steamrolling Danny at the end of that fight. That fight should have been stopped for me. But Lamont was beating the brakes off of Danny. You know, Danny just at 147. I mean, you're right. He lost to Thurman, as well. You know, he's just every time this guy's in with a good guy, he just gets beat. So this is why I'm just bored of Danny Garcia. I'm just bored to death of Danny Garcia.
Go ahead, caller.
Amen.
Hey, caller, I have a question for
right,
you. So I just want to ask you something quickly. So what's his name? Danny Garcia. So his biggest fights at welterweight was, let's say Peterson. Let's say that fight was at welterweight. It was a controversial fight. Then he fought Keith Thurman, boring ass fight. Then he fights Sean Porter, loses the fight. Now he's fighting Spence. What are you expecting out of Danny Garcia in this fight? Another big fight.
Well, I mean, he's 32 years old, and if Spence has anything left like what he used to, even if he wins in the decision, it should be a beatdown. It should be a solid beatdown due to the fact that he's a much bigger natural fighter. His hands are just as fast, if not faster. He can take everything Danny Garcia throws at him if he's not a shell of himself. And he works the body well. He's a southpaw, so the right hook's going to be coming in from an angle he's not used to. And I mean, Spence can punch. Spence can really punch. So this should actually be a solid win for Errol Spence Jr.
Yeah.
Nowhere near like
Decisive.
the Mikey Garcia fight. It should be an actual beatdown.
Yeah, decisive
Yeah,
victory.
I mean, look, you've just got to look at when you push Danny back, he falls to pieces. Zab Judah did it. Zab Judah, when he was trying to box Danny from range, was getting beat up. It's only when he took the fight to Danny and started pushing him back, Danny's clueless. And that's the same with Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson just wasn't doing anything for six rounds. As soon as he started walking Danny back and started landing his shots, he just fell to pieces all over the place. He was, and that's how Spencer's got to go in there and push Danny back and look good doing it. He's got to beat Danny up because Danny's there to be beat up. And watch Danny. Danny will fall to pieces as soon as Errol starts landing his combinations. I see Spence stopping Danny Garcia because I think if Lamont Peterson can nearly stop him,
Yes, a good
Zab Judah. I see Spence stopping Danny because I think Danny's so slow and so flat-footed. He's not going to be able to get out of the way from. He's not going to be able to run from Spence. And this is why Danny looked half decent against Thurman because Thurman was running all night on the back foot, and Danny don't mind that. Danny could just fight around at his own pace and time a few shots here and there. That's all he does. But when Spence is putting it on Danny, you'll see Danny. He'll start curling up in the shell. Nothing will be coming back. He'll start feeling sorry for himself, and that's when you'll probably think a towel will probably be waved in or the
So you guys are saying this fight is a mismatch. This fight is a mismatch. This fight shouldn't be a pay-per-view.
Depends how Spence fights. If Spence fights on the back foot running, it's going to go to 12 rounds. If Spence fights like he did against Sean Porter, then I see Danny being stopped. Look, Danny's got a great chin, but I've seen Danny numerous times when he's under the cosh, he falls apart. And his heart goes, and I could see Errol's a big, strong lad. If Peterson can do that to him, what's Errol Spence at his best going to do to him? Come on, man.
Well, this is who
against
Spence
an older
is fighting.
Garcia.
Yeah, against an older Garcia. This is part of Spence's legacy. At 30 years old, he's fighting a 32-year-old Danny Garcia who has failed multiple times in the welterweight division when it comes to big fights. All right. Well, listen, caller, thank you for calling in. All right, we're gonna take another phone call. Take care.
Okay, just one more thing. Just don't forget to hit me up on Discord because I used to be part of the show. So I'd like to join back in whenever you guys can.
Oh, send me a message then. Go ahead. All right.
Yeah, I'll do that. All right.
Oops, sorry.
Butcho.
Yeah.
That Thomas Hitzelberger in the chat room. Just block that guy because
just block him.
He's still moaning about the swearing. Just block him so he can't comment anymore.
Who is this guy?
All he does is talk about swearing, and it's a grown-up show. Is this Kiddies Corner or a grown-up show?
Oh wait.
Shit.
Take
just
that.
Block him, man. I've had enough of that
Take
guy.
that.
I can only time him out so much before I get annoyed.
All right, let's take another phone call. 773, you're on the air. 773.
How the hell y'all boys doing?
What's up? I don't know who this is. Go ahead. It's Kevin.
I gotta ask Stu a question before I get to my point. Stu, who's this Mark guy from England who got his eyes swollen up like a balloon? He lost his title. What is it? Some type of belt. against a black guy. Who's that dude?
When was this fight?
Last weekend, Mark something. Jeffrey.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, mate. Do you think I was out partying with girls? Do you think I was going to miss that to fucking watch that load of shite? Come on, man. I didn't watch it, bro. I can't tell you. I don't care about them cards anymore. Listen, Kev, I become a boxing snob when it comes to what I watch. Because I've spent too many hours of my life watching garbage and mismatches, and I've had enough. Look at these cards Hearn's putting up. Come on, man.
All right.
Heffron, you know who he is. Come on. You watched the fight. You got whooped up.
I can assure you I can assure you I did not watch the fight. I can assure you I did not watch the fight.
Are you embarrassed?
Look, I'm not worried about I know who Heffron is. But look, Mark Heffron, I know who you're on about. But look, I didn't watch the fight. I didn't want to watch the fight. I didn't watch Conor Benn fight. You know, I just didn't want to. I was out doing other things. This how I mean boxing's got to bring me back in. I've sort of like lost my love for it for a little bit, you know. I have done because there's just no decent fights to get excited about. I mean, are you excited about Joshua Pulev?
I'm excited about watching the heavyweight champion again. Go ahead.
Well, there you go. I'm not. Look, Teofimo Lopez Lomachenko. I was excited about that one. That was a good fight. So I didn't
you
mind
becoming
that.
a casual?
I didn't mind Charlo versus. I like Charlo versus Derevchenko fight. I thought it was a decent fight.
Are you saying that you're becoming a casual?
No, it's just like paying for boxing. Like all the money I've spent on boxing, and I still wasn't satisfied. I'll come on here moaning all the time. So why would I pay for something that's going to make me moan? So I've started to get quite tight at what I buy. Mm-hmm. and thanks to a certain.
So you're saying,
Stu, I've got a nice little stream that I can use. But look, when the
you're saying you wouldn't pay
fights there, the ones I'm excited for, I'll pay for them.
So you're saying, Stu, that you wouldn't pay for sex? You wouldn't pay for something that makes you moan?
No, well, listen, mate. Hey, why am I going to pay for sex, right? Why am I going to listen? When you pay for sex, right, you get this nice fit bird, right, and you think, yeah, mate. But what you don't realise is there's a fat, ugly man that's been there just before you, probably that night, slobbering all over her, man. But the thing is, he paid the same money as you did. So, listen, the fun of getting a bit of ass is working your way in and sliming your way in and pulling that bit of ass for who you are, not for what you got in your fucking wallet, man. Nah, man, I'm not a man for hookers. Never have been. I can get pussy. I don't need to fucking buy it. Just never have done, man. Not into
grinding, the work. Kevin, go ahead.
Well, it's just waste of money, isn't it? Waste of fucking money, man.
All right, Kevin.
And these girls, let's be real, these girls.
Fair enough, Stu. Fair play.
We get the point.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Isn't that what they say? Fair play?
What?
Fair play. No.
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
I was gonna say,
Let's talk boxing. Let's talk boxing. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing with these fights is, man, I do feel bad for the hardcore boxing fans. They got to look forward to, like Stu, like he was saying, it's like this Crawford versus whatever his name is. People are like looking forward to it. Like, oh yeah, this dude, he's good. He's looking in shape, man. He's looking in shape. And what happens? He folds in 4 rounds, and then they're gonna say, oh, Danny Garcia and Errol Spence. Yeah, this is a good fight. Yeah, we've seen this play out. Danny Garcia, he chokes in all the big moments, like you guys are saying. It's week after week. Boxing fans get their hopes up, and they just to get disappointed. And this is something they like to do. They rag on UFC MMA for the money situation. They say, oh, UFC, they don't get paid a lot. They're slave wages. And Dana White, he's like a dictator, this and that. But that dictator is what puts on the best fighting the best. Conor McGregor versus Khabib, both in their prime, both fighting at the perfect time, the best fighting the best. That's what we like to see. And with boxing, it's always if they do fight the best, it's always at different times. 5 years too late with the Manny Pacquiao Mayweather situation. It's weight stipulations in the contract. It's always bullshit. And this is why I feel bad for these boxing fans, man. They really Every once in a while, you got a good fight to look forward to, like the Lomachenko fight, or you look like the Tyson Fury versus Wilder. Every once in a while, there's a big fight to look forward to.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just
not
filler
enough, Kev.
garbage. It's just filler garbage.
It's not enough though, Kev. It's like any other sport. We get to see big events most weeks, don't we? I mean, especially in the Premier League, you're getting a big game nearly every week. Are we getting a big fight? We're not getting a big fight every month even. I mean, every 6 months sometimes. I mean, look, Eddie Hearn, all this talent in his stable he keeps telling us about. Why ain't he mixing them up with each other and getting them in there? No, he could have made Saunders Andrade a long time ago in those sort of fights. You know, he's got loads of fighters there that he's trying to con the public, and you get these fucking casuals that come on here, basically mostly from the UK, that name themselves after gay footballers for some reason, like Thomas Hitzelberger in the chat. I mean, why he'd want to name himself after a gay footballer, I'll never know. That's on him. But these are the people we're dealing with. These are the Hearn fanboys, you know. They see no wrong in this guy. They don't see what he's doing. They don't see that he's conning these fucking people. I mean, he's going to bleed Joshua dry until Joshua's not got an ounce of fucking energy left in him. And he gets sparked out cold by someone in a bad way. He's going to...
How big is Joshua in the UK? He's pretty big, right? So,
and that's why he's going to keep Joshua
what's
going.
What's the problems
he
too?
no longer go.
Listen, I'm not an Eddie Hearn fan. I'm not defending the guy, but I mean, I think he's done a pretty good job with Anthony Joshua. As far
he has
as
done a good job with Josh, but the thing is, like I said, he has done a good job with Joshua, right? But he sort of neglected a lot of his own British talent because of Joshua. It's all about Anthony Joshua. And why? Because it's all about money to him. And Joshua is the big cash cow in the UK. And he's going to keep throwing Joshua in there every opportunity he gets. But he's not going to put him in there with Fury or even Wilder. He's going to keep putting him, he's going to Pulev, and then there's going to be someone else. And Dillian White rematch will come along. Don't be surprised to see Chisora in there one day. You know, he's going to bleed Joshua dry because that's all he thinks about is money. And that's why Callum Smith, the reason Callum Smith, you don't really care about Callum Smith because Callum Smith don't bring any money.
But that's the thing, Stu. Maybe these other fighters that you speak of are not that attractive. Maybe these other fighters are...
money, so, yeah. Kell Brook, look what he did to Kell Brook.
But so wait a minute. These fighters are not responsible for their careers at all. I mean, they're like, it's all. Come on, these guys maybe weren't that good. Kell Brook, maybe. Like, look at that guy. He's quitting and shit. Like, what does that have to do with whoever's managing his career? That's just a fighter.
Look,
yeah.
Well, I got something to say about that.
Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Yeah, it's the promoters are responsible because they're not with all these different promotional companies and their unwillingness to quote unquote cross the road has made it hard for these fights to happen.
So they don't want money.
You can make fights happen. It's a load of nonsense that fights can't happen. It's funny how Joshua and Wilder couldn't happen. Oh, it just can't happen. Yet Fury managed to get that fight twice. You know what I mean? It's nonsense. You know, Hearn doesn't want to put him in there with Fury. He probably cash Joshua out to Fury. He wants to try and get Joshua a few more fights in there where he can make a few quid. Because look, for me, Joshua's nearly out of the game anyway. I think Joshua's heart's gone. I think he's made so much money. I just don't think his heart's in it anymore. And I think he's just fighting for money now. So he ain't got long left. And Hearn probably knows this. So Hearn's going to just drag it along. If you think you're getting Fury anytime soon, what did he sign Golovkin? No, what did he sign Golovkin for, by the way? To do what? To fight who? Who's this chump that he's fighting next?
Yeah, they got to restructure his contract now. You know what's the stupidest thing, and I don't know who to blame, the promoters or the fighter? When they go back and forth arguing over, should I get 60 or should I get 40? Should I give you 40 or should I keep 60? Why can't we just do 50-50? It's like, I need to get a little more than what you get, because if that won't happen,
because they don't want the fight. Because they don't want the fight. Come on, that's clear. They don't want to risk their all. Their zero.
Eddie Hearn is scared that Joshua is going to get beat again. Look, does Anthony Joshua fill you with confidence when you watch him fight after the Ruiz? I mean, even the Ruiz second fight, is that a guy that filled you with confidence? Not me, it didn't. I'm worried for Anthony Joshua when he fights someone that's got quick hands. He could be sleeping again. Do you know what I mean? And look, I think Eddie Hearn knows. He's not a stupid man, Eddie Hearn. We say what you like about him. He knows boxing. He's not a stupid man. Joshua is there for the taking. We all know that. So he's gonna look. I don't think Pulev's gonna be the man. I think Pulev's style will suit Joshua. Just too slow and too inactive. Well, he's got a nice right hand, Pulev, but you can't be throwing the jab and a right hander every 2 minutes and think you're going to beat Joshua. It's not going to happen. So that style will suit. But when he's, I don't know, man. Even Wilder's a difficult fight for Joshua because it doesn't fill you with confidence. If Wilder lands that right hand, do you think
he won't land that
Joshua's
right hand?
Going to be
up? Hold on, Kevin. Anything else? I'm going to open StreamYard after if you want to jump in.
Yeah, you know what it is they don't have to do anything else. Eddie Hearn knows the public, they're going to eat whatever he serves up, so he can continue to milk the public for whatever he wants. This is like Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, he's content. He doesn't have to fight Errol Spence because he knows he's going to get $1 million paychecks, $2, $3, $4 million paychecks to fight a washed-up Kell Brooks. So this is the problem. The fans need to put their foot down and start boycotting these garbage events instead of just buying whatever they sell up. This is the problem. Whatever the media tells you, whoever is in charge, this is what you should watch. This is a good fight. This and that.
Yeah, these promoters are enabling.
It's a good one. It's supposed to fight.
Yeah.
It's true though. You know that's true because I know Sky Sports did a pay-per-view Premier League thing where they were paying pay-per-view for certain games in the Premier League at the weekend. And people boycotted it because it's out of all. We spend enough money to watch football as it is, so everyone boycotted it. They had to scrap it because no one would buy it. And this is what happens when you don't buy pay-per-view. They have to scrap it and find other ways to bring the money in, or lower the price, or give you good cards that people will buy. But it's only because people have got no standards in boxing. Especially these UK casual fanboys, football fans. Let's be real, who are quite happily just to get drunk. They don't even watch the fight after. I'm just drinking so Anthony Joshua, just singing Joshua. Now.
Yeah, they're fucking wasted. All right, Kevin, thanks for calling in.
Them guys will pay every day of the week, but they've got no standards.
All right, Kevin, take care. All right, let's get move on. Yeah, you're right. I don't know how we ended up talking about this fucking Joshua thing. And anyways, let's get back to the welterweight division. Well, no, it actually makes sense because we were talking about promoters, and this is what maybe one of the reasons why these welterweights aren't that impressive, because their careers have been mismanaged. Again, Crawford, 33 years of age. Spence, 30 years of age. Keith Thurman, 32 years of age. Sean Porter, 33. Garcia, 32. How many years do these guys have left?
Like, you can let the pot stew too long before the meat gets too tough, and that's the problem, mate. They're letting it. They've left these fights to stew too long. I mean, look at Khan and Brook as an example. I mean, Eddie, and I know Eddie's not really trying to convince us with that one, but other people are saying, "Oh, that fight would still be all right. I'd still watch that." Well, you're alone on that one, then, because I have no interest for that fight. Who wants to? What's the title going to be for that one? Battle of the Losers. Battle of the No Fucking Hearts. Get out of here, man. I don't want to see them guys in a boxing room. Look, I don't even want to see Kell Brook walking past me in a shopping centre. Never mind seeing him in a boxing ring. I just don't want to see that guy again. I mean, he's a gutless wonder for me. He's proved it time and time again. I'm sorry if because I know some of you guys don't like stuff like that. Ooh, calling the fight a gutless wonder. Yeah, man. Crumbled every time the pressure was on him.
And you know what? These guys are 35, 33, 32, and so forth. And, maybe they're aging a little slower because they're not having, like, the big wars, that their career gets a little bit more... Well, let me just finish. Their career gets a little bit more prolonged. But what happens with that, you got the young guys coming on like Jerron Boots Ennis, like Virgil Ortiz, and you can't really say that they're the best anymore. They're not the best welterweights. They will not be, because these younger guys will be much better than them by the time they step up and really do what they needed to do before. They won't be the guys. And they will be perceived as duckers because they're not going to face the young guys that will beat them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? You're gonna bring a good point. And that made me think about this. You know why some of these welterweights, their age hasn't been exposed, basically? Their age hasn't been seen in the ring? It's because they've been fighting each other, some of them. Like Keith Thurman against Danny Garcia. Like Stu said, Danny Garcia didn't do jack fucking shit. Now, if you would have had a hungrier Keith Thurman, or maybe a younger, or another type of fighter, he would have maybe, put on a beating on Danny Garcia. But it seems to me like they agreed to, like, not even fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, Danny Garcia is just gonna walk in there and just fail to deliver like he always does. He's gonna go through the motions, and he's gonna realise very quickly that he's not gonna win, and then he's gonna go in his shell like he always does.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, look, the only reason this guy keeps getting his opportunities is because he's got the right man on his side in Al Heyman, and Al Heyman's he basically runs the welterweight division. So Danny's going to keep getting his opportunities. You know, look, I'd rather see Spence fight Porter again than I would Danny Garcia. I would.
Yeah, that was a good fight. That's a good point. I was going to mention because that was actually a good fight. But the rest of these fights, Garcia, Sean Porter, Garcia, Thurman, boring as fuck.
It's like Broner as well. Broner's another one, isn't he? Just getting opportunity after opportunity and just doesn't deserve it.
You know, here's the thing about the PBC. Somebody was, when I started this show, somebody read that title, obviously. I think it was, anyway, somebody in the chat, he's already complaining about the PBC, even though the title doesn't mention anything about the PBC. But I guess he's right because there is a correlation with the PBC and these welterweights that I just mentioned. Spence, Thurman, Porter, and Garcia, they're all PBC fighters. And yeah, their careers have been mismanaged by Al Heyman. I think we can say that with certainty.
When you got a fighter like Manny Pacquiao, who's not really a true welterweight, although he's an all-time great, and he's an old guy. You know, he was 40 at the time he fought Thurman, or 41, and he beat him. That just kind of left sour taste in a lot of these boxing people's mouths. Like, you know, these guys aren't that great, like the show, like the title of the show. But another thing, they're trying to call him out still, like Spence and Crawford, because they're trying to get that name. It's almost like they're trying to play catch up, and they're trying to appear to be like to people that, you know, we need to get this guy in our name in order to have like the passing of the torch to prove that we're the next guy that carries the sport. But they're really late on that because they're 35, they're 32.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't look good.
And look at Spence's. Go ahead, Stu.
No, like I said, there's been many opportunities for big welterweight fights to be made, and it's just not happened.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know, like I said, you can't keep waiting and letting the fight stew. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what happened with Wilder and Joshua, and before you know it, they're both getting beat. And that's what I'm saying. You got to make the fight while it's irrelevant, when people are talking about it. And this is what I'm saying. Crawford, Spence. This is the time to get that fight made now. There's no one to forget about anyone else. I don't want to see anyone else in there with these guys. Make that one. That's the one I'll pay. But look, I don't mind paying my way on that one if it's pay per view. I'll pay my way on that because that's the best of the best, and that's what I want to see. Do you know what I mean? Why are boxers the only one? Why are boxers the only ones that can go around and call themselves champions without fighting anyone that's even on their level? It just makes me fucking mad, man.
One's 35, right? Crawford's 35, and he doesn't want to be proactive with, you know, calling the names. He's just pretty complacent, kind of mediocre, his personality. And the other guy, he got that accident, and they're not willing to realize that they've been marinating this too long, and the public is tired of it. The fans are tired of it, and they still want to continue arguing over fucking peanuts. Because if this is a over a $10 million fight, let's say $10 million at the least, and they're arguing over fucking 10%, that's 1 million out of 10. And just because of that, they're fucking stalling. People are tired of that shit, man.
Excellent. Yeah. Absolutely. Somebody in the chat, Bernie Sanders. Is that Bernie? Is his name Bernie Sanders?
Bernie Sanders.
Cerny Vanders. That's an insult. Cerny Vanders, he's already saying that he's not calling in because we already made up our minds. Basically, we're not open-minded. Listen, you can call in. We can have a civilized discussion.
Look, I've got eyes. They work. I mean, every time I watch Danny Garcia, if he ain't putting me to sleep, he's failing to impress me. So what do you want? I mean, like, the only good fights I've seen Danny in is the ones he's on the receiving end of a beating. Do you know what I mean? It's never him putting the work on someone, looking impressive doing it. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I keep hearing about this power Danny's got. When was the last top fight this guy knocked out? You have to go back to Lucas Matisse.
No, I think Adrian Granados.
They didn't knock him out, did he? I think he went the distance as well. I mean, look, I just don't know. I mean, It's just fails to deliver every time. I mean, it's a sign of madness. Keeps doing the same thing, expecting different results, and that's what it is with Al Heyman putting Danny in there. What's he expecting? A different result? Danny's going to come in and press for once. No, he's not.
Yeah,
he's
if you're a Spence fan,
and get his ass whooped.
Yeah, you got to admit that this fight is not very attractive, and it's definitely.
I think it's a good fight. I mean, he's heavy-handed. He's got a good chin.
Yeah,
and I don't blame him too much for the fights that he's lost the 2 times because they were close fights. I harp on him more for the fights that they actually gave him that he won.
Okay, hold on.
Is that guy got the fight?
Yeah, listen, Gonzalo, that's a good point. Heavy-handed. What if he lands? But we've heard this story multiple times. I mean, at some point, it's like, it sounds like
his delivery slow. Aside from the no-look left hook, which surprises people, that he's not that explosive because he's slow. It doesn't generate a lot of speed behind those heavy
so
punches.
What's the point? Like, what is
his work rate is very Klitschko-like, where he'll only throw shots when there's an opening. When there's an opening, he doesn't push the action. He doesn't take risks. It's all a bit cagey for me. And always waiting. Look, he's got a nice right hand. He's got a world-class left hook, but barely lands the fucking thing because he's never thrown it.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he stated that he realizes what he did wrong in those 2 fights, and maybe he got a little chip on his shoulder that he's never got the credit. But this time it's put up or shut up,
yeah, it could be, but I don't gonna pay $75. Okay, go ahead. Wait, hold on.
It's recycled. It's Danny's being recycled, isn't he? Time and time again.
I'm fed up. All right, guys, we have.
What does this do for Spence's? What does this do for Spence's resume? It doesn't really do anything for me.
It's a big win. It's a big
he's
name.
He's already got better wins on his resume than Danny.
Okay, wait, hold on. 860. You're on the air. 860. Go ahead.
Yo.
What's up?
Okay, I'm gonna make it easy for everybody. Okay.
All right.
That way, there's no argument. Spence is gonna knock every motherfucker out. Spence is gonna be he's the best. He's the best. There's no Crawford or none of them. They're not gonna fuck with this fucking Spence. Donnie Garcia, everybody really think Donnie Garcia's gonna bring it in? Like, come on.
Nah.
It's just all selling. They're just trying to sell. Spence is gonna put him to sleep.
Yeah, Gonzalo you should sell the fight. You should work with the PBC and sell this.
I know, but they're all stupid as hell. They're just trying to sell the fight.
I mean, he could show up the fight. We don't know.
Teofimo Lopez and Tank are the best. Anything else, Dana Haney, he sucks. Everybody, these people suck. Crawford, it's good. It's a good fighter. Spence will knock him out.
So you think Spence?
He's a little bigger than Mikey. He's a little stronger. And Spence, he watched Mikey.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Spence, he brings the fight to you. Spence is
He's going to bring the fight to him. He's going to bring the fight to him.
He's smart.
He's going to bring the fight to Spence. And you know what?
I think Danny ain't taking the fight to no one. Spence is going to take the fight.
He's going to bring the fight to Danny.
I got a feeling Danny's going to take the fight.
He's either going to quit. Oh, that's it. He's either going to quit or he's going to get knocked out. Watch. You watch.
Quit? Whoa. No, I don't know about that.
I think Spence might actually take the fight.
Danny's going to suck. Watch. It's not like back in the days anymore. These young guys are bringing it in.
Angel Garcia is going to throw in the towel.
Spence is going to bring it to him, and what he's going to do.
Well, we'll see. Anyways, anything else?
No, that's it. I just wanted to make it easy. Spence he's number 1 pound for pound.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in.
Let's not go that far. We'll have to see. He's got to beat. Look, we don't even know if he's the best in the division right now at 147. It's between him and Terrence. And
they have to fight.
Look,
they have to fight.
Terrence is a very good fighter, So,
but you know what? The caller made a great point, and not that by him speaking, just by the attitude that the impression that I got. A lot of the problem sometimes these fans want to bestow one guy as the greatest fighter in the world when he hasn't even put in the work. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So, and the work would be to fight Crawford, right? I mean, that's the only work he can. How can he?
Well, he can, but I mean, but he's calling them the greatest thing ever, like already,
Well, no, I don't know. Well, yeah.
Still.
You're right. All right, let's take a
Why doesn't Al Heyman Go out and box for and put Spence versus Jamel Charlo or something. 154. Spence is a big guy at 147. He can quite smoothly go into that division. So look, make that fight happen if Terence can't happen. Make these big fights with Spence. I mean, you're just wasting the best years of his life. Look, form isn't forever. Trust me. Form comes and goes, and when you're in a bit of form, and you got to make the best of it. That's Cal Brook will tell you that when he put on that great performance against Sean Porter. He didn't build on.
But you know what, Stu? That allows for Al Heyman to have a superstar in every division. That's why he don't go up.
Yeah,
because he can have Jermell Charlo at 154. Well, hold on, he can have Jermell Charlo at 54, Errol Spence at 47, and Big Brother at 60. Why put them in the same division? That hurts the sport. I agree. Why put them in the same division if the PBC could cash in big time in every division? That's fucked up too, man.
All right, guys, we'll continue.
None of those guys are fucking superstars anyway. So what you got to lose? By look, Jamel Charlo's he's already got a fucking defeat on his record. So does it matter? Well, it's not going to change anything. Put him in there with Spence, man. Come on, man.
But they're making the pay-per-view. They're putting these guys on the pay-per-views, and that's how they're getting their money.
All right, guys. Just want to read a comment from Tony Boswell. Thank you for your contribution. He says they need to stop stalling, fight each other, or move up. Too many wanting the crowd for the money. They don't care if they are the same division anymore. That's a good point. And yeah, it's all about the money for sure. Guys, we're going to take a phone call. 559, you're on the air. 559.
Yeah, what's up,
right? What's up? Go ahead, 559.
Okay, yeah, because Stu said earlier that Danny Garcia was just getting recycled, but I've been saying for a long years now that the PBC tends to do that with their belts, like what they were doing with Wilder, where it was just like you fight this. They had such a hard time finding opponents for Wilder because of his style. I think they knew he wasn't very skilled, so they would just try to recycle that belt over and over and just avoid Dillian White. And probably pay the WBC money to not do the mandatory. They're doing the same thing with Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, all that, just recycling this belt, having them fight each other. Everybody except for Ugas. I think Ugas beat Sean Porter. Sean Porter beat. Well, I think it was probably a draw. I had it with Spence. But they're just, and I guarantee that after that Garcia fight, they're gonna have Sean Porter fight Spence again. I guarantee it, because they don't fight outside the PBC because they don't want to lose the title. Because if they lose that title, what do they have left? They don't have any other titles.
Right, and I don't mind them fighting each other, obviously, but I think it's happening a little bit too late at this point. Especially at Spence Garcia fight, I'm not really that interested because Spence Garcia at this point, like Stu says, has failed multiple times when it comes to big fights. So at this point, at 32 years of age, we don't know if he has anything left. But
Danny doesn't have anything left. Danny is going through the motions. He's fighting for money. That's what he's doing. And I don't blame him. I mean, what else is he going to do?
Well,
so I don't blame him for doing it, but just, don't expect people like us to buy it.
That's a good shout, though, for Spence coming off of that accident, Danny Garcia. That's not a bad shout.
That's a good point. That's the accident.
I get that. I get that, Steve. But the thing is, my problem's not with Spence. My problem's with Danny Garcia. This guy is just, how many opportunities does this guy need? And every time he fails to deliver. I mean, look, he's very rarely in exciting fights for me as well. It's just not a guy I want to see. Look, I'd rather see Spence. I'm not expecting Spence to go in there with a killer, but just someone that's going to bring a bit more than Danny Garcia brings.
Why make it a pay-per-view on top of that? Okay, I understand he's coming back from an accident, but to make this a pay-per-view, it's just... I guess, I mean, is that the way you're going to sell the fight?
I don't have any problems with Errol Spence. I don't have any problems with Errol Spence taking this fight right now in the situation he's in. It's, been out the ring for a while, coming off a crash. Yeah, I get that. He doesn't even know where he is right now, so I get that. It's just my problem is just Danny being there. Well, it's just Danny being there. That's my problem. I just don't want him to be there that night. I know what's going to happen. I don't need to look into the future to know this guy is going to stink the fucking joint out.
Danny could have done this 3 or 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That's my point,
Exactly,
man.
bro.
Listen, I don't mind them fighting each other, but some of these fights should have taken place a long time ago. But 559, anything else?
Yeah. Also, I don't really think that PBC has that much confidence in in Spence beating Crawford. That's another reason they don't want to do that. Because they keep giving him these smaller. Well, obviously he's too big for that division, but they keep giving him these fighters that I think they know he can beat. You know, like De La Hoya said about the PBC, they already know who's gonna fight who a year in advance. That's why it's so hard to get fights with them, because then it throws out their little agenda. So I don't think they. I mean, Spence, his best fight is Kell Brook, and I thought he was losing that fight at the time. I thought he tied with Sean Porter, was a lot smaller. I mean, Danny Garcia, he's just like he's like a guy that he's not great at anything. He just does everything really well, but he will never be great. You know, he'll never.
Well, that was a good win, though.
But
that Kell Brook was a good win. I mean, a lot of people had Brook as a favorite coming into that fight, and Spence did go to the UK, man. So you gotta give the guy credit, though.
I think Spence showed me a lot that night, because he showed what dog he's got in him. Because when the boxing wasn't working, he had to take it to the streets, if you get what I'm saying. He had to fight on his gum shield and take it to the trenches, whatever way you want to use it. And that's when he started to take over. Kell Brook just couldn't cope with the pressure. He was overwhelmed by Spence. Yeah. But when Spence was trying to box him at range, Kell Brook was sort of outboxing him and winning the battle. So Spence showed me a lot that night. And he showed it with Porter as well. I think when he took the fight to Sean Porter, he was winning those exchanges at times. And it's not like Sean Porter bullied him. So mostly Sean Porter, when he's in there, he's just steamrolling people, bullying them and mauling them. And I just don't think he could get close enough to Spence at times, because Spence was fighting himself out of the hold and constantly putting it on Porter. And I think it was a really good performance. So yeah, he showed me he's got that in him.
All right, we're gonna take another phone call. 346, you're on the air. 346.
What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? What's on your mind?
Look, man, I'm just getting to the point, man. You probably agree with me. I don't know if you don't, but when boxing just started being about fanboys and bias, who you like, who you don't, every fight different, man. Like, give me on Earl. If you look at Earl and you look at Danny Garcia, let's just be realistic. The better resume would be with Danny. Now, what you done for me lately, of course, will be Earl. Of course, it'll be Earl. But all this stuff, man, people talking about don't really even talk about boxing no more. Everybody just talk about really who they like. That's what sports is about. That I mean, some of these callers are worse than the LDBC.
Yeah.
Caller, who would you say was Danny Garcia? Could you just give me Danny Garcia's best win?
Danny Garcia is not finna.
Joe, ask him, please.
Right, hold on, caller. Hold on. Stu, go ahead.
Caller, can you just tell me who Danny Garcia's best win is in your eyes?
Who he beat?
Is anyone there?
Yeah. Who has Matisse?
Probably Matisse. You go there, but I mean.
So how have you got a better resume than Spence?
Out of his prime and fighters like that, but Danny's fought everybody they put. I mean, you know how boxing is.
Yeah, but look.
Okay,
Darnell Boone fought everyone. Isn't he great? Well, look, it's like fighting people. You got to win, and he didn't win any of them.
Yeah,
so when I want to talk about resumes, you talk about victory. How can you say, oh well, he fought that guy. All right, he got knocked the fuck out, but he still fought him. That don't mean nothing to me. When you talk about resumes, victories,
Spence couldn't. I heard one dude say Danny can't
knock out. You had to go back to 140. Back 8 years ago. I don't know how long ago.
Couldn't even knock out Mikey Garcia.
That's right. He couldn't knock out Mikey Garcia. Come on.
Come on, that Mikey Garcia shit.
True, man. Come on. Everybody was saying that he was gonna get killed. He was gonna. Come on, he couldn't stop. He couldn't even hurt that guy, basically.
Listen, man, I'm so sick of doing this.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia.
I forgot.
Spence didn't knock him out, period.
Spence wanted to outbox him. Spence didn't want to knock him out.
Spence didn't knock him out.
Are you kidding me?
Hold on. Don't get me started on this Terence Crawford. I see a lot of people like the bash Terence Crawford. It ain't his car movie fight. Everybody know Terrence is a real one. If you know boxing, Terrence is a real one. He ain't gonna beat Terrence Crawford. I don't care how many people say that. You can say that all day, but when them two finally meet, you gonna find out the people that going with Terrence Crawford, they gonna be the winners at the end of the night because that style right there, Terrence is special, man. And just because he ain't fought the best welterweights don't got nothing to do with him not being special. That's what people fail to realize.
Very persuasive.
You know what I mean? That's not his fault. That's not his fault.
D, go ahead.
Yeah. Listen here, man. This whole Errol Spence nonsense, cut it out, man. Listen, 1 through 8 rounds, okay? He was boxing Mike. Why he decided to do that, I don't care. When we used to see Spence take a guy out, when we used to see Spence stop a guy, he goes at him from round 1 all the way until he stops him. Not wait until the 9.5 round to start trying to take a guy out. That's just how. If he'd have went at Mikey, like he went at Chris Van Heerden, he'd have stopped him somewhere around 7. They would have been throwing that towel. But he was sitting there trying to play pretty boy and show his boxing skills on the little guy. Yep. That's exactly what happened, fam. Like, let's keep it real with this.
And let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all one more question. I'll be about it. How do you really honestly believe that Earl Spence and Bud Crawford fight gonna go?
50-50 fight, man. Spence could beat Crawford.
50-50
fight. Spence could beat Crawford. Crawford could beat Spence. Got to see these guys fight.
Okay, but what my question is though, how do you feel that fight's gonna go?
It just depends because Crawford
how is he gonna get it done?
So hold on, caller. Are you saying? You tell us how is it gonna go? Are you that convinced?
No, my question is okay. You can say somebody gonna win a fight. You got to break it. How do you feel Spence is gonna beat Crawford? Where do you think he's gonna beat him at? Where? How is he gonna beat him?
Pressure. He's gonna pressure.
That job's pretty good.
He's going to get him inside. He's going to get inside.
Pressure him. So what's he going to do?
Yes, he's going to pressure. Hold on.
When Terrence Crawford move around and skills win fights, size don't win fights.
Hold on.
Size don't win fights when you're against somebody who's skillful.
Oh my God.
All right, hold on, caller. You gotta let
D.
You gotta let
questions, man.
All right,
I'm letting you talk, man. Go ahead. I can't hear two people talk at once.
D.
Well,
you're talking over D. He's trying to answer your question. You ask him the question, then talk over him when he tries to answer it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said, how is he going to beat Crawford? You said he's going to come forward.
Yeah, okay. So when I start telling you how you start talking again, so this time, how about zip it? Now listen, Crawford first and foremost is no defensive guru. Spence is going to get inside of him, and he's going to work his body. He's going to work those hips. You know, when the ref is on the other side, he's going to pop them down there on their hips. You know what I mean? He's going to slow him down. He's going to keep pressuring him. Crawford has had issues with pressure in the past from lesser fighters.
That sounds good.
It's going to be good. You ask how. You ask how is he going to beat him? Not if you agree with it or not. I just gave you a way how.
Oh no! I respect what you're saying. I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm just saying. People say Spence is so big. No, listen. The last thing is everybody say Spence is so big and Spence is big for the welterweight and he hit hard. But Terrence just proved you in the last fight, and I don't even want to hear about it being Kell Brook because Kell Brook talking about his eyes got shut. He didn't get hit in the eye. He got hit with a motherfucking jab, man. Terrence hit hard, bro. Terrence is a smaller dude, and he hit harder than Earl Spence. That's facts, bro. That's what people don't talk about. That's what people don't talk about. Terrence hit harder than Earl Spence.
That's a good point.
That shot that Terrence landed on Kell Brook should not have been hurting.
You're right. No, I like what Stu said. Yeah, it is a good point because people don't talk about that. Now, people in the real boxing stations talk about that. Earl don't hit harder than Terrence Crawford, bro. Just because you're bigger than somebody don't mean you hit harder than them.
That's a hard one, really, because they both hit hard for me. It's styles. It's look, the way I see Spence beating Crawford is in the pocket in mid-range. I just think Crawford. Look, Kell Brook was tagging him all night. All right,
no, I agree with you. That's the only way he can win because Terrence ain't gonna stay in the pocket like that. Terrence is gonna beat him by skills, man. Skills pay the bills.
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, but the thing is with Terrence, he's a very good boxer, but I think he's a better fighter than he is a boxer. I think his boxing skills are overrated. I think he's a better fighter because I think when he tried to box Kell Brook from range, he was sort of getting out jabbed and he was getting out boxed. Sort of. As soon as he took the fight, as soon as he took the fight,
Somebody that know boxing.
Kell
Thank
Brook
you.
fell away like he
What do you
always
think you're
does.
gonna do with somebody like Terrence? When Terrence switch up, when Terrence can switch up, man, that style right there is always gonna be the style, like a come forward style, bro. Footwork. See, skills without footwork is like a blind man without a cane. You feel me? It won't work.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, caller. Thanks for calling in. All right, we're gonna move
but
on.
that's my call, man. I appreciate y'all, man. H-Town, Houston, Texas, baby.
Yeah,
All right,
good call, man. Good call.
Where's the?
All right.
Look, that fight's just a very hard fight to predict. I mean, look, it could go either way. Both guys are good enough to win that one. I'm still going with Spence. I think Crawford's. I'll still go with the fact I think Crawford's there for the taking. I mean, Kell Brook showed us that he's there to be hit, Terrence. You know what I mean? He's there to be hit. It's just Kell Brook just didn't have the fight in him.
Spence gonna work behind that jab, come inside and tear his damn body up. I'm telling you guys, man. Look, I'm not saying that Crawford can't win this fight. Of course he can win this fight. I'm saying Spence is gonna win it.
Yeah, me too. I'm just going towards Spence on that one. But look, 50-50 fight.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Crawford's a beast, man. That dude's a monster. He's proven it over and over again. And you know, this Brook fight, man, look, the guy was drained, so that had a lot to do with it. Punch resistance was out the window. Just like, I don't know why people can't admit that. His punch resistance was gone, man.
Yeah, yes.
Hey,
Look, I mean, that shot excuse me, that shot that's rocked Kell Brook, should be hurting world-class welterweights like that.
D, you're not the one. You don't make excuses for Kell Brook when he fought Spence, right?
Look, no, because I still think he was against Spence. He was still good that night. You know, he was still good that night. I just think Spence overwhelmed him in the end. But look, the first good shot he took from Terrence, I mean, he was just fucking. His punch resistance has gone, and his heart and his will to fight has gone by the looks of it. I mean, he never looked like when he got up. He just looked in shock. He was waiting for the ref to wave it off, and then he just covered up in survival mode, waiting for the ref to jump in. He never really tried to grab hold of Crawford or try and survive or try and get on the back foot. He just didn't try to do anything. It was like he was waiting for his demise to come, and that's what upset me. But look, that's not Terrence's fault. So I won't take away any credit from Crawford. He did what he was in there to do. I just thought Kell Brook was,
it's not okay to make excuses for Kell Brook for the fact that he went up to.
No, I'm telling you, it's terrible.
Stu, not you, just in general. So, some people who claim that don't want to admit that Kell Brook took a beating from Golovkin, then had to come down to the welterweight division, and that somehow took something out of him. No, some people say, no, you can't say that. That's an excuse. But now, when it comes to Brook and Crawford, now you can make an excuse, right? That this Kell Brook that Crawford beat was
that was a much better.
Well, that was 3 years ago.
That was a much better Kell Brook that fought Spence.
Well, yeah, 3 years ago.
That Brook that fought Spence was a much better Kell Brook. Look, the problem with Kell Brook is just he was throwing single shots against Terrence and just leaving himself square on. It was just like you can't throw single shots against Terrence. You just can't. He's going to piece you up quickly.
He did. He didn't look too good in the weigh-in either. He looked old, tired, haggard. Terrence is also around the same age, but he looked very good. He's still in his prime, even though he's older, because he hasn't taken a lot of punishment.
I'm not expecting Kell Brook to go in there and win the fight, because I said Terrence Crawford would win. I thought he'd win on points. But I expected Kell Brook to put on a bit of a better show than that. Let's just say that. I mean, come on, man. As soon as he got hit once clean, he wanted out of there.
And he fought scared too, because he said it himself. I'm scared, and I think this is gonna get me up for the fight. But in reality, he looked frightened. You can tell by his eyes.
Hey guys, if Spence beats Danny Garcia, which I think he probably will, is Spence gonna become a pound for pounder?
Man, what? And in the top 10, right? We're not talking top 5, are we?
Top 10. I mean, I think some people already have him in the top 10. So
I mean, he's good at the top 10, but Danny Garcia, man, I don't think that. I don't know how much that should boost you up
Yeah,
pound for pound. I mean, you're beating Danny Garcia.
yeah, exactly. I mean, what does
so
that
I'm
do?
guessing
Nothing.
you guys don't have him right now in your top 10 pound for pound list.
He's like around number 6.
I have him down there. I have him under 6, but yeah, I have him under Jamel Charlo actually because Jamel's to be higher than him if you ask me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've got him in my pound for pound. I haven't got. I haven't got Charlo in there either.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking here. Okay, so Spence beat Kell Brook, big win. Mikey, I don't count that shit.
Teofimo Lopez has a better win than both of them, so he's got to be in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I got Teofimo on there. I got Lomachenko, Teofimo, UC, Louis, Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, look, Spence is close. I think Spence is one good win away for being in the top 6 for me. But right now, I mean, it was his last fight. Can't remember his last fight.
Sean Porter.
Yeah, it was a good. It was a good fight. Yes, look. Problem with Sean Porter win is Sean Porter has lost a few fights, isn't it? So he's not the only one to beat Sean Porter. Kell Brook did it long before him, sort of thing. So is that a win that's going to put you on the pound for pound? It's probably, I don't know, man. It's hard to say, but one good win for Spence, and I think we top 6.
He's 30 years old. Crawford's 33 next year, obviously. So Spence going to be 31. Crawford 34. I mean, how long can we wait for this fucking fight?
I'm not waiting anymore.
Okay.
I've stopped waiting for it. I mean, I'm to the point if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But once Crawford pulled the Floyd Mayweather, I'm done with it. Floyd and Crawford are demanding A-side. Like, come on with that, bro. Not gonna get A-side. So basically, for whatever reason, maybe it's to chase down Pacquiao or whatever, you're just asking too much of yourself. You're not A-side material. You can't sell.
Yeah, the climate has changed.
You can't sell.
It's not the same anymore. The climate has changed with the COVID and everything. People are tired of that. Then these younger guys are stepping up and doing things differently, like Teofimo. I think a lot of more fighters are going to follow in their footsteps too.
Right.
Yeah, in the chat, Norman says we've waited too long. I mean, this is getting annoying. Yeah, you're right. At this point, I don't give a fuck. If Spence can't get that fight, I think he should move up in weight. The PBC has some 154 pounders over there. Pretty interesting. Yeah, you're right. This is
let's hope that Terrence Crawford is there at the fight. And when the fight's over, if Spence wins, given that he does, that he calls out Terrence Crawford, and that Terrence Crawford go up to the ring and also speak about that.
Right.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. We're not calling out fighters. Like
Hey,
the
guys.
old days that used to work, it don't anymore. That's the problem.
How much would Crawford not fighting?
Terrence Crawford's been calling out Spence for a while now. Did you see the
I don't
videos when he walked
care.
straight into Errol Spence's face and called him out? So
Yeah,
look,
but we don't know what happens. They can do. Yeah, sure, they can do that. But who knows if it's a fucking it's a bluff. Something like maybe it's they're not even actually.
That's why it doesn't really mean anything. That's the point.
But
we don't know.
He didn't do it when the lights were burning bright. When he got the victory, I mean, Arum was the one that called out Crawford. Crawford called out Pacquiao.
Whatever. Hey guys, if Crawford doesn't fight Spence, how does that affect their careers in terms of I don't know, Hall of Fame status?
With Crawford, I don't think it affects his career.
No.
With Spence, you got to see what he does. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
about
he has
that.
to
Spence
move up.
gonna have to do more.
Every all-time great has a guy in there that they didn't fight, that should have fought and they didn't. Certain reasons they didn't. But that doesn't really take away their stature. Do you know what I mean? So look, Spence. Even if Spence doesn't fight Crawford, Spence still has to go on and beat some good guys, but even beat some of these young lions coming through, like Virgil Ortiz and people like that. You know, he's got to get good wins from somewhere. And then look, and we can talk about it then. But right now, the Danny Garcias are not doing nothing for me. Another waste of a training camp.
Yeah, Stu, I know there's always Can I just say something? It's always
you know what, Muto? Yeah.
It's always like you Stu said. It's always someone that a boxer didn't fight. But come on, these guys are in the same weight division, around the same age. There's really no fucking excuses here. I mean, it's not like
but you know what?
Yeah.
It does affect Crawford's legacy. I'm gonna tell you why. Because although he's done good, we would never really know what his real ceiling is. He could be an all-time great for all we know, on the likes of a Roberto Duran, Tommy, and all those guys. But if we never really knew his true potential, we only could assume that he was that good. But they didn't take it a step further, not because he couldn't, just because he wasn't. The fights weren't made. That just leaves a lot of open question marks, man.
That's a good point. What if? That's the worst. Go ahead.
Look, that fight. Look, it's basically bad for boxing if that fight don't happen. We know where we are as boxing fans if that fight don't happen, because it just proves that no matter who the best guys are, the likelihood is we might not see them fight, and that's just shocking in itself. How you can have two guys with that talent and then just not put them in the ring together when it makes sense from all angles. I mean, I just don't get it, man. It's just, this is boxing for you, mate. Run by people like Eddie Hearn and Heyman and Aram, and the fucking ruining
these guys think that we, the fans, are salivating at their fucking, like, all this the talk that they make. Oh, well, yeah, the A side. No, people don't want to hear that shit. They think we do, but fans are sick and tired of that shit, man.
Excellent.
Yeah. Do you think we're dumb and we'll just take whatever fights they give us? And we probably will. Just take anything they use.
Not me, mate. Not anymore.
Yeah.
I'm actually yawning, like getting really tired just talking about this fucking welterweight.
Yeah, fucking welterweight division.
It's never been a division that excites me. All right, it's got talented fighters, but it's a diva division. You know, and look at all the divas in that division and fucking ducking each other, and
Hey, all right. I have a question for you guys. Crawford, Spence, Thurman, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia. Biggest fail, biggest disappointment. Who takes the prize?
Thurman.
Danny Garcia.
Yep. Danny Garcia. Stu says Thurman. Gonzalo.
I'll say Crawford, because at least with the other guys, you saw them. I'll tell you why. Because with Porter and Garcia, you saw them hit their limit. You saw their capabilities, and when they couldn't really take it a step further, but the other guys, you couldn't really see their limit because they weren't challenged enough. So that's why they take the biggest L.
Good point. I get your point. That's a very good point. But what about
Crawford's already accomplished before he came there?
Exactly. Like you can say,
but not at welterweight, because
not at welterweight.
He can accomplish more. He could accomplish a whole lot more, right?
He's already accomplished more than them.
Yeah. He's leading the helm. But at the end of the day, the guy that could have been like an all-time fucking GOAT, he's probably just a legend. He could have been the GOAT.
So he's not Keith Thurman in your opinion.
Don't make him the GOAT. That puts him past Sugar Ray Robinson.
But I didn't say because of that one win. I'm just talking about the whole body of work. If he would have had more fights and a better resume, not just that one win.
Well, what about Keith Thurman, though? I mean,
none of those guys.
He said the biggest sale. He didn't put him. He didn't say, oh, just because he didn't fight Spence. No, the biggest sale. The biggest sale is this guy's talent off the field. He's a good guy, knocking everybody out. A 3-weight division champion, possibly could jump up to 54 and garner a title there. But
why is that a foul then? Why is he a foul then?
But because he could face the bigger names. He could face, like you said, the Charlos of the world, the Spence. Maybe who are the bigger names?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's all his fault. The promotional company.
Yeah, but he's not fouled yet. The thing is, you can't call someone a failure that's never fouled.
You're right.
Yeah. It's like
Hey, look,
Pacquiao. He
if
was,
you want
he
to
was
talk
a good
about,
guy.
if you want to talk about, hang on a minute, Gonzalo. If you want to talk about failure, let's talk about Danny Garcia, the specialist in failure. Let's talk about him.
No, I
Yeah,
think
but he was never that great to begin with. So why he's not even relevant in the
The
conversation
guy
of
was
greatness?
a unified 140 champion.
True.
Just like I know Crawford was undisputed, but he was the best 140 guy in the world. He went up to 147. He's been given opportunity after opportunity to deliver, and he's fouled every time.
I
This
see
guy
what
is a
he can do.
specialist in failure. Yeah, you're
I
saying
see what he
Terence
can do.
Crawford,
Stu,
the guy that's probably pound for pound top 3 in most people's eyes, and you undisputed 140 champion and a 147 champion now. He's the failure out of them lot.
No. You're misinterpreting my words. I can see what Danny Garcia can do. I'm not interested in what else he can do. He already showed me. Terence Crawford, yes, he's a big winner. Bigger winner than most people in life, yes. But he can do a lot more, can't he? Can he? And I would want to see that for the sake of me being a fan and saying, oh man, this guy, I could put him on the likes of a Manny Pacquiao. And he's not. Maybe he's equally as good, maybe even better than Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, he's a big winner. But in a sense, he takes the biggest L because a lot of questions are yet to be answered.
So you're talking about the what if that
No. For you to tell me that I said that, you're kind of judging me as like
no, you're saying
like I don't know what I'm talking about, like a dumbass.
I didn't say
I
you know
didn't say that. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to put.
Let me defend myself.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking hell, man. Look, I didn't say that. I said, right, we're talking about Butcho asked which one was which one fouled out of them 4. I'm paraphrasing now, right? And you started mentioning Terence being the foul guy here. I mean, the guy that's not lost the fight.
Okay.
This is my point. I can understand where you're coming from because he should have done more in your eyes. I get that, but when we're talking about failure, then look no further than Danny Garcia.
I made a mistake. Hold on, everybody.
I mean, but see, Thurman's been a failure as well. I mean, I picked Thurman because I didn't realise Danny was in there, and then I realised Danny was in there. But Thurman has been a failure as well because I expected Thurman to go on and be a real top welterweight. He looked the business, when he was knocking people over. But he's failed to deliver as well. So yeah, I get that. But when it comes to failure and failing to impress, it's got to be Danny.
Stu, I made a mistake, guys, with my question because it's true. I said disappointment and failure, which could be interpreted as different things, right? Because Stu.
Danny gets both.
Danny's my answer to both.
He gets both. No, but Gonzalo's talking more about the disappointment, and it's true. It would be a disappointment if Crawford doesn't fight Spence, if Crawford doesn't move up to 154, because we would have been like, what if? What if?
Well, Gonzalo, let me tell you something, Gonzalo. I don't think it's enough people in boxing right now for Crawford to ever catch Manny. I just had to put that out there. He doesn't have the opponents to catch Manny. I don't go fuck if he fights Spence and Porter and all of those guys and move up to 154 and fight Castano and those clowns. He doesn't have the repertoire to catch Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion.
But that would be great.
Actually, I might have misinterpreted the question, and I got a little.
Yeah, I think we all did.
It's my fault. It was a shitty question. I said failure.
Which I might as well have said it in Mexican. I probably wouldn't have said it that.
Yeah. No, but you're right. Okay, so disappointment, that would be but failure. I mean, we gotta go with.
I still give Danny both disappointment, failure, piece of shit, whatever you want to put it in.
Who's the biggest piece of shit?
Danny.
I'm gonna have to go with Keith Thurman because go back to 2012 HBO. This guy's one-time Thurman. He's knocking everybody out. Then I remember when he fought Diego Chavez. I started to see this guy was struggling a little bit. I was like, okay, maybe Diego Chavez is a tough guy. He's a tough guy. Then gets cracked by Soto Caras. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, he came back and knocked him.
Didn't what's his name? Who's the guy that hurt him to the body? Oh, I forgot his name. Luis Collazo.
Yeah.
Luis Collazo was the first guy that cracked him to the body. And I think it sort of like showed Keith's weaknesses that night. You know what I mean? I mean, because Keith was looking the business, and even until that fight, he was looking the guy that was going to be the the top guy. But then after that fight with Collazo, where he got hit with a big body shot and he sort of like curled up in a ball sort of thing, and you could tell that he just doesn't like the body shots. And I felt that's where a lot of people saw that night, and then that's what Thurman seemed to struggle after that. Do you know what I mean? It seemed to just couldn't get the big KOs in like he was getting in before. Don't know,
Pacquiao cracked him with the same shot. Collazo also left-hander, caught him to the liver with the left hand.
That's it. I mean, if I saw it, they're going to see it. So look, Thurman showed his weaknesses that night, and ever since he's just never been the same guy. But I liked Thurman. I liked him. I did. I thought Thurman was, especially when he was fucking throwing his hands and getting these guys out of there. He looked really exciting. But it's just been a while since Thurman's really hurt someone, hasn't it?
I actually give him credit for the Pacquiao fight. He gave a valiant effort, and that was a good fight. That's what we want to see in the end of the day, right?
Yeah, well, we don't want to see, was it 29, 30-year-old losing to a 42-year-old or something. I mean, I don't care if it's Pacquiao, I don't care who it is. Come on.
Let's be real. Thurman should have gone in there and made a statement. If he's serious about being one of the top guys, and he showed that night that he's not good enough for the Spence. Just not good enough.
Guys,
that was a great win for Manny Pacquiao. To me, that added to Pacquiao's legacy.
Absolutely.
A lot of people were saying, "Oh, Pacquiao's legacy is already cemented. That's just going to be like the cherry on top." I think it did a lot more.
All right, guys, we're going to take a phone call. 978. You're on the air. 978. Go ahead.
What's up, you savages? I had to come in this way, dudes. I was listening to this show and I couldn't fucking get on through Discord, so I just wanted to call and say, what's up? And
I sent you a link.
First off,
huh?
What's that? Can you hear me?
I sent you a link. I'll send you a link, man. Why are you fucking calling? I'll send you a link. I thought I did.
I tried to come in on a link. Maybe I did it wrong. All right, cool.
All right. How do I hang up? I sent him a link on Discord. Maybe I didn't send it on. All right. Anyways, who else is here? We have Recognize the Matrix. Recognize, what's up? Oh, and we have Jay too. Guys, welcome.
Hey, thanks. Can you hear?
What's up, fellas?
What up?
What's going on?
We're talking about the welterweight division. More specifically, we're talking about Crawford, Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia. How good are they? Is this welterweight era good or bad? Garbage?
Are we comparing this to other eras, or are we just talking about the relevance right now of their division?
Well, we have to compare it to other eras.
The relevance of their division right now. Yeah.
So
which is
let's rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Is this an exciting stat division? Yes or no?
It could be.
I agree. It could be
if they fight, they all fight each other. But let's compare them to the '90s, like the mid to late '90s, early 2000 welterweights, like Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, Ike Cortez, Pernell Whitaker. You know the difference between those guys. All those guys are Hall of Famers because they all fought each other. Sugar Shane Mosley.
You're right. Well, but hold on. Let me add a piece of information to make this more interesting. Terence Crawford, 33 years of age. Spence, 30 years of age. Keith Thurman, 32 years of age. Sean Porter, 33. Danny Garcia, 32. Exciting?
See the difference?
Exciting?
The difference. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The difference is everybody named from the 90s, with the exception of Whitaker and well, that's the one that comes to my head right now. We're all done fighting, and Shane. Shane came, I think, fought Oscar when he was 30, and Whitaker was like 33 by the time he fought those guys. But the rest of them were all in their mid to late 20s. We're all at 33 right now. Yeah, we're at 33 right now for most of them. And even though Keith Thurman and the PBC guys have all fought each other, they haven't brought Terence Crawford into it. And in my opinion, what makes the 90s different is that one step below those second tier guys. You know, you had Jose Luis Lopez, you had Yuri Voicampus, you had Obakar, you had Daryl Coley. There's no second tier guys here that help make that division any more exciting.
Agree. That's true. Because even though second tier fighters were getting in the mix, they were fighting the first tier guys. And obviously the first tier won, and we would expect that. But you see, I was hearing D say he was talking about Terence Crawford I think he was basically saying that there's no path for him to be better than or do better than what Pacquiao did. And I sort of agree, but here's the thing. He has a pathway to be a all-time great fighter. You don't necessarily have to. You could fight Spence, and if you win that fight, if you can't get another fight at welterweight, you go up to 154. There's some great fighters. One that comes to mind is the Charlo brother, the one that fights at 154. If you can somehow beat that guy, hey man, you look really good. People start looking at you in a different light. Even if you lose one of those fights, but you're competitive, people look at you differently. And if say
I think that fight does as much for Charlo. Beating Charlo, that fight does as much for him as beating Crawford for me. I mean, going up,
I agree,
to 154 and fighting a dangerous Charlo is just as impressive as fighting Terence Crawford for me, and winning that one. I mean, look, so there's other options. Crawford's not the end of the world, but Crawford's got to happen for the fans. I mean, look, why don't these boxers just want to fight the best? They should. Fights can be made. I'm not going to have this promoters and all this stuff. The fights can be made. It's been proved over the past, through the past, that fights can be made. Look at Lennox Lewis when he fought Tyson. Fucking Michael Buffer and Jimmy Lennon were both in the ring announcing different fighters that night. They had fucking Showtime and HBO both streaming it.
That's a lot more money on the line to make that fight than it is for some of these guys to fight Crawford, or for them to even fight anyone outside of each other in the PBC. I fully respect what you're saying, Stu. I'm not arguing with that, because the fights can be made. But I'll just a little history now. We go back. Floyd and Zoo never fought, right? They were on different networks. Neither one of them was a big enough star for the two networks to say, hey, let's cross over and split this 50-50. For a crossover fight like Showtime and HBO, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, those are historic, landmarking, bank-breaking fights. Crawford and Spence, as much as we love it, isn't going to do that.
But the thing is, you say it isn't going to do that, but it's going to do decent enough numbers for Crawford to still get paid $4 or $5 million. And how much does he want? The thing is, you can't start demanding fees when you're bringing not much back in return. Bob Arum's proved that. He said that this guy just doesn't sell. I mean, it's a shame. It really is. I mean, he should be able to sell, but he's not. So there's only so much money Terence can ask anyway. And if Mikey Garcia is getting paid, how much did Mikey get paid to pay Errol and fight Errol? Sorry, but what, $7-8 million or something like that dollars? I mean, surely Terence has got. Surely Terence got
allegedly. No, I didn't see a solid.
Well, allegedly, then. But what I'm saying is,
split of $8 million anywhere other than they said could be up to. Go ahead.
Look, there's no excuses why that fight can't be made. The money's there to be made. Look, that fight's not going to make hundreds of millions of dollars. It's just not going to anyway. It's not big enough fight, but it's going to make enough money to even break even or even make a little bit on top. Do you know what I mean? I'm not worried that who makes money. I just want to see the fight. But
all right, let's get.
Look,
I want to get.
All right, hold on. I'm with you on that.
First of all,
I am with you on that.
Jay,
but
your mic
at
is
the
fucking
same time,
up.
when cross-network fights come along, money's got to be there.
Jay, your mic's fucking up a little bit, so I don't know if you should maybe log out, drop out, and come back in. All right. I want to get Jimmy in here. Jimmy, what's up?
What's up, buddy? Can you hear me before I start rambling?
Yeah, it's perfect. Go ahead, man.
Okay. All right. No, well, just want to touch on a couple of things. Backpedal a little. First off, no, I don't think this does anything for Spence as far as throwing him up higher. This isn't even an opinion, right? This isn't just my opinion. Danny Garcia hasn't had a significant win since 2013, since Matisse, right? He's like, it's like a heroin hit. He turned us all on, right? We're like, bang! And he caught the attention of everybody. And then every time we keep going back to that spoon, right? And it's just never been the same. Now it's like you don't even want to do it anymore. And and if you can actually see all of it, like some of you guys touched on Thurman too, all then knocking people out one time. And it's not just the Soto Corrales body shot and all that other stuff, which did turn him, I think, kind of into a back foot boogeyman.
Yeah,
but in all time, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the body shot from Clouser. Yeah, in 2015, well, no, he signed them all at the end of 2014. PBC kicked off in March of 2015. Just go to BoxRec. Look at the people they fought. Remember how we don't talk about it as much now, but remember the boxing world around 2015, 2016, all that everybody talked about was the PBC, how they were fighting. They just had a complete. It was the most amount of money for the least amount of challenge, and that was the fucking philosophy. So when you mix that in with fucking fighting infrequently, it's just a bad combination for fighters. You know what I mean? So just that in itself will dull people. And you could see it because then when they did finally 2 years into the fucking thing in 2017, match up their first big welterweight special, it was a sloppy boo fest because those guys were rusty. They hadn't have their timing down. But at this point, seriously, fucking, I have such little faith in. I mean, he does just enough to lose. I think he's never sets a trap. All he does is try to catch people with that left hook, and just Spence is just too good to do it. Yeah, and if he does get caught, gets put out, then fucking Spence ain't half the guy we thought he was. Because he should honestly, if he boxes him, just straight up fights him in a boxing match, he should tune him. Should win almost every fucking round. It's pretty hard to knock out that fucking kid's a tough kid. But so yeah, I just don't. That's when Crawford needs to go 45-55, right? Just make that right there. Give fucking Spence his 55. Give him the extra money. Make the fight. His resume isn't that strong, absolutely, but he can only fight what's available. But at the same token, let's just be straight up honest about fucking Spence's resume, or for that matter, any of the PBC welterweights resumes. I mean, none of them have actually done anything. None of them had any of these spectacular wins. Listen, Spence didn't stop a chubby, blown-up lightweight who's been put down before. I don't care whatever his reasons to those middle rounds, or whatever going distance.
He wanted to display his Jimmy.
What's that?
He wanted to display his skills. That's what he didn't want to.
I mean, come on, dude. No fighter, no boxer. If they haven't the time to put somebody out, they're gonna try it. Usually in the fighting world, what you're doing when you avoid those rounds to try to step in and take somebody out, you're doing it for a reason. You're waiting for some of the steam to come off your opponent's punches, so therefore you don't take as much damage. And so, and Garcia's a fucking well-conditioned athlete, probably took him about the 8th, 9th round before his punches started noticeably losing steam, and then coincidingly, that's when he jumped in to try to take him out. So that whole skill thing is bullshit. I think Garcia in the 2nd round caught him with the right hand, and you could just see for a split second, kind of opened his eyes big, and I think he realized then, this chubby little lightweight can crack, because he does have a hard right hand. So I think he said, fuck it, I'm just going to take him on the outside, because I'll own him. And he did. Then after that, everybody knows the story, Garcia threw more punches at the ceiling. But, and then you go back after that, Campo, I mean, just on his line, I'm going to cut you up, but I just thought, you know what I mean? And then they both fought Kell Brook. I don't know. It's just like everybody's so quick to jump on, and I am too. I think his resume is weak, but I think all their resumes are weak. And no, they don't touch the 80s, the 90s, and early 2000s at all.
Hey, by the way,
that's my rim, dude.
Before Stu says something, I just want to thank Tony Boswell, who says, is Crawford's best move the PBC? He's asking. Well, maybe Stu wants to answer that. He wanted to say something.
Look, probably the only move, isn't it? Sunny move, man. Right now for him. Look, Bob's.
Well, you know what?
Bob's had long enough to do something with this guy. Look, we can all blame Terence Crawford for not bringing in the numbers, but Bob's had a part to play in that. Look, it's no coincidence that Lomachenko's got the same problem. I know Lomachenko's in America and Ukraine, but still, Golovkin managed to make it. I mean, you've got to build fighters up. Look at the build-up between Wilder Fury, the second one. That was just superb build-up. I mean, the Americans really got behind that fight, and I thought they did a real good job building that fight. When you get the media behind them, then you can make these fights big, and people will tune in. But how often do Americans see Terence Crawford and Errol Spence to get even in each other's faces, calling each other out? Never. They're never on telly. They're just nobody's over there. So when you do put it together, people are like, who are these guys? You've got to fucking make these guys relevant. Like all them guys all them greats you were talking about, everyone knew they were. I mean, even I'm from the UK, and we all knew those guys were. There's not many people from the UK. I mean, apart from the boxing fans, that know Errol Spence, Terence Crawford is. Maybe Terence Crawford now he's just fucking destroyed Brook. No one knew these guys were. They're not big stars, and that's down to promotion. You got to build your fighters up. You got to do something with them, and I don't think Bob did a great job with Terrence. And I think
You see,
Heyman has done a terrible job with Errol as well.
Bob Arum came out and doubled down, saying, he's too old. He doesn't really want to deal with Terrence Crawford anymore. Okay? Now, Bud wants to be loyal to Bob Arum, but Bob Arum doesn't want to deal with the guy. So why doesn't Arum just jump ship? No, because he's perfectly fine with having Bob Arum as long as he keeps co-signing his bullshit. And what I mean by that, as long as he keeps receiving the comfortable paychecks and doesn't do more than what he's required to do in his mind, he doesn't want to do no more. So that's the problem with him.
Yeah, if he's passed him off to Todd LaBoff, I guess Arum said at his age, he's going to pass that off, the whole situation with Crawford off to Todd, which Todd's going to be running the business soon anyways. Bob's still the face of it, but, Todd's going to be running it. And the thing is, the offers that were made to those fighters then, they all turned them down. And, Bob said it, because like Bob said in the interview, along with what you heard him say, he said, I've made multiple offers to every one of those PBC guys. What can I do? I can't make them get in the ring. I've offered them, each one of them, more money than they've ever been paid before, too, mind you. And as we said, at the time, except for Broner, he was the only one who made any substantial money out of the welterweights. Because I don't even think Garcia, at the end of the day, Mickey, I think, got 3.8. I'll have to look that up. But,
Jimmy, then he wants to complain, I'm not getting the right promotion. And he had the Kell Brook contract for 2 weeks. They didn't even want to sign it. That's why he didn't get his exposure.
Can I say, too, at the same token, he had the #1 cable show, 1.9 million last year. So he had the most viewed fight. So we kind of all say it, and I'm guilty of it, too. I've been saying, blah, blah, blah. But then I went up and I did some research. He sold 14,000 seats in Madison Square Garden, which is fucking huge. And he had the #1 show on cable, 1.9 million in 2019. So and he did sell a lot of seats when he fought at home, and then Bob let him fight at home. See, that's another thing. At least with Bob, you have somebody like on PBC side. There is no promoter. You have an advisor, and you have your small management team that you would usually use as a promoter. But the problem is, their hands are tied. Al will only let them talk to certain media, blah, 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 and all that other shit. So I think yes, because I agree with you. I think Bob kind of smacked him a little and said some shit and then doubled down. And then Terrence is still saying he knows where his bread's buttered. He knows that Al wouldn't have come. You think Al would have came $3 million out of his pocket? Al Heyman's never spent dime one out of his pocket. Everything's been investor money or infusion through cable or TV deals. Bob's out of pocket because he's a real promoter.
All right, guys, I want to go to this guy on this.
Bob, let's not pretend Bob has not failed to deliver as well. You know what I mean? Look, he's had some fucking really good fighters and struggled to make names with them. Look, I know the fighters got to do their bit as well, but it's just look. Terrence is never going to be. Terrence is not a name now. If Terrence is not a big name now with the big backer, he's never going to.
All right, hold on, Jay. You want to say something?
I wasn't trying to call Stu out on this, but I was just curious when he said he's had some good fighters but hasn't made it. I just wanted to know which ones you were referring to.
I don't. Say again. Hadn't made what? Good fighters, what?
You said that Bob's had some good fighters, but he hasn't made anything of some of them. I was just wondering which fighters you were referring to.
Well, let's just say I'm on about money, making money off them. I'm not saying,
okay.
I'm on about Lomachenko, the fucking Lomachenko doesn't make. And look how many 2,000 people that Lomachenko fights in when he fights in the States. Eddie Hearn lost money on Lomachenko when he brought him over to fight. He even said that he only brought him over as a treat to the fans, sort of thing. He lost money on that fight. Luke Campbell.
It's called
pay per view as well. Yeah, I mean, look, it's the same with. Look, there's loads of fighters that he's. It's not just his job. Terrence Crawford's another one. I mean, what he's telling me 35,000 pay-per-views against Postal. That's what I'm hearing. You're telling me that's successful, is it?
60.
Well, that's up to okay, but that's Crawford's fault, I believe.
It's both. It's both for me. That's my point. It's both.
It was an opponent too. Postal was a horrible opponent to make your first pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that was bad.
It shouldn't have been pay-per-view. It
shouldn't have been, dude. It shouldn't have been. You're right.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm not here to.
It was too soon.
I'm not going to be here to defend Bob Arum on all this, but the fighter does have a certain responsibility himself.
He does.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm
That's
agreeing
what I'm
with you
saying.
full-heartedly, Stu. You've got to get out there. You've got to be charismatic. You've got to try and get at. De La Hoya would jump off a train and sign 1 million autographs. People flock to that, but then there's some people like Mike Tyson and even somewhat Vladimir Klitschko, who people are just drawn to you somehow in another way, and they still want to see you. I'm not saying Klitschko was a huge selling point, but people flocked to him because he had charisma.
No, there's a reason Conor McGregor is so popular. And most of it's because of his mouth and his charisma.
Yeah. Roberto Duran.
That's what sells.
Besides Roberto Duran,
Conor
But you
McGregor,
say there's
Conor
only
McGregor's
one way
a
to
salesman, isn't he?
Yeah.
Besides Roberto Duran being a great fighter, he was a good salesman. I mean,
right.
Crazy.
Ricardo Mayorga, he was like a one-hit wonder. He was a bruiser, and he was very popular back in the day.
Good point. But can we agree that there's many ways to sell a fight? Because some people claim like, well, you gotta be a loudmouth, you gotta be obnoxious, you gotta be like Broner. That's not necessarily true, though.
No, it's not true.
Just
if you haven't got charisma, you got to knock people the fuck out in devastating fashion. If you don't do either of them, then good luck to you.
And, and like to that point, even his social media, you go to his Twitter account, right? Everything's like 6-word, jabs at somebody or runoffs. He never responds. He never gets in conversations with fans. He never interacts with them. And again, it's always just, his tweets are like just a couple emojis and that, and then he won't tweet again for a month. Look at Virgil Ortiz, because I just wanted to see. I've watched that kid's Twitter account go from 2,000 followers in the last 6 months to I think he's up to 30,000 now. Because he just keeps interacting with people, and he, just little things like that. Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah, Virgil Ortiz. Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually a very personable kid, and you see him all the time posting pictures on his account with fans. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not too big to do that. So when he takes pictures with fans, it's on his account saying, "Hey, I met some cool people." Bop, bop, bop. Fans love that shit. You know what I mean? When you treat everybody like fucking. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's because you're afraid to embarrass yourself because you're from the street. I mean, I know that's the excuse. He's kind of.
Is that old saying? What's that old saying,
yeah,
Jimmy?
Dude.
He's out.
Yeah,
he's out.
Fucking, you gotta act.
He's out there signing autographs and kissing babies.
Exactly.
You gotta do.
Sell yourself.
So back in the day when he was, I'm going to step over to wrestling real quick. When Chris Jericho was still just the TV champion on WCW and on Ted Turner's network, this tells you how long ago this is. One time they came to Augusta, Georgia, where I'm from, and I was trying to meet the guys coming out through the back of the Civic Center to get some autographs, and he just stood there all night trying to, have conversations with us and, help pull guys over so I could take pictures with them and autographs. I stopped and asked him, I said, "Why are you doing this?" He said, "Because without you, I have no paycheck. So if keeping you as a fan, if this is what I have to do it, then what else am I, what am I doing here?" And
20 years later, you're still talking about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not only still talking about it. He's making movies on.
No, but I'm saying it had an effect on you.
Yeah, and when it had effect on a lot of people, but he sold himself, and just like what we're all trying to say, we're all coming to the same point. The promoter can get the press conferences, they can get the contract with HBO or Showtime or whatever TV network.
Mm-hmm.
They can get a whole bunch of things going, but you've still got to get out there and you've got to make your name. And if you can't knock people out, like Stu said. If you don't have charisma, you got to knock him out. I mean, Evander Holyfield didn't talk trash. He didn't always knock him out, but he had charisma. People were drawn to him. And
you know what?
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I just want to add to that. There's a shortcut to all that. Just stop arguing over 10% and take the fight. And once you win the fight, you believe in yourself so much, then you're the man.
Especially Gonzalo.
He's an exciting fighter, right?
Especially at this point where they're in their 30s, going to mid-30s. I mean, come on. At some point, one has to just concede and go all right, let's just make this fucking fight.
Let's just make the fucking fight happen.
Pride bullshit. That's all that is.
Guys,
we costing them.
Guys, hold on. I want to just take a phone call. 585. You're on the air. Okay. 585. Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, how you doing? How you doing, Mr. Mucho? This is Brent.
What's up, Vince? What's on your mind?
What's up, Brent?
How you doing, guys? I'm doing great. I cannot wait till December 5th. We finally get to see the pound-for-pound king, Earl the Truth Spence Jr. versus Danny Swift Garcia. It should be very explosive. Both guys don't know what backwards is, so this should be a collision for the ages.
Oh, man. So...
somebody choking you when you speak. If somebody have you in a chokehold.
Listen, Vinny, just give us your prediction.
How you doing, Mr. Recognize? I'm
How
sure
you
you'll
doing,
be
buddy?
rooting for Earl Spence, and you do not want to lose that money. Yes, Mr. Bucho, my prediction is Earl the Truth Spence Jr. with a late stoppage and sending a message to Terrence Bud Crawford. You need to come to the PBC side, which is the best side.
The West
Dark
side. Best side.
All right, Vinny. Anything else?
Do your thing, Recognize.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Bucho.
he doesn't have nothing else to say. Bye.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to let everyone know before I hang up here. I will be in the chat immediately once I hang up to give everybody the link so they can buy December 5th only on pay-per-view, guys. $74.99 is not that
Are you
much
still
money.
talking?
Make sure you guys start saving now.
Okay,
Yeah.
buddy. Take care of yourself.
Give me
all right?
75 and
have
I'll
a nice
pay for
one.
that. I think.
You know,
take care,
take
Vinny.
care.
90 seconds.
You guys have a great night, and please buy the fight and do not illegally
Hey,
stream
listen,
this.
buddy.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Hey,
My God,
Bucho, what's more absurd? $74.99 for that fight or Danny's nickname Swift?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Jesus. 75. By the way,
$75. Get out of here. I'm not paying
$75. Can you believe that shit?
oh, you
For a
what? You
dude who
don't have
hasn't
you
fucking
don't have
60 seconds.
You don't have $75. Like I have $75, but I'm not gonna throw it in the toilet. Fuck, you know what I mean? Like, what's the
I'm gonna
point?
use it on something I want.
Yeah. So hey, Jimmy.
Yes.
Spence 30 years of age. Thurman 32. Porter 33. Danny Garcia 32. Is this a failure? In terms of
dude, of course. Remember when they were all 23, 24, knocking people out, all fucking had belts. Not Spence. He was just in the prospect stage then in 2015 still. But the rest of them, man, Broner, add him to it. Guerrero. Remember they had the whole welterweight division on lockdown.
Yeah.
That Terrence Crawford was still fighting at 135. Side note, too, I don't think Crawford would be suicide for him to go to 154. He is maxed. His frame is maxed at 147. That's just my opinion. But anyways, back to this. Huge failure. Listen, just look at the facts. It took 2 years before the PBC made their first significant welterweight matchup, and then 3 more years to make 2 more. They only had 4 in their first 4 years, and they had every welterweight. But then since then, they've either timed out because of just stale. I mean, look at Thurman. Like you said, you hit on it earlier, Bucho. 29 years old, 29 should never, I don't care how great he was back in the day, lose to Pacquiao. That was embarrassing. And he's embarrassed for it. And it's completely taken everybody, nobody really talks about him now as one of the top welterweights just because of that loss. And Garcia is just like he's the great Guerrero of this age. They're just going to keep retreading that fucking dude.
I feel like Thurman is ashamed.
Cal Brooks played his part in this as well. Let's not forget that. When he had the title, I mean, Bizier, Jojo, Dan, Frankie, fucking Gavin. I mean, they're world title defenses, by the way. Come on, man. I mean, this is why the welterweight division is where it is. It's not just the PBC guys. It's not just Crawford. This is Cal Brooks, Amir Khan, another one. People like that guy.
I know, Jojo Dan, that killed me when he did that twice.
Divas and cherry pickers.
What was the reason for the twice?
Yeah, Stu, I get your point. But Stu, Kell Brook is an isolated case. He's with Matchroom Boxing. Here we are talking about 4 guys in the same promotional company.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, but it's the bigger picture. We're talking about the whole division. We ain't just talking about the PBC.
Okay.
And look, is there any excuses for Kell Brook to be taken those sort of fights? Frankie Gavin, come on, man, Frankie Gavin.
All right, but listen,
the guy that lost to Bundu. Come on.
Yeah, okay, that was a waste of time. Fair enough. But then after he beat Sean Porter, he was on top of the welterweight division, right?
Yes, that's my point. Who did he fight? He fought Frankie Gavin, he fought Bizier, and Jojo Dan after that. This is a world champion, for crying out loud. This is my point. He had his role to play in why that division has been stinking for years. And obviously you guys are right that the recycled fights in the PBC are just getting tedious now.
So, Stu, you know a lot more about Kell Brook than I do, other than what I've seen of him over here in America. I mean, what you're lecturing him about, I'm kind of getting to this. Was it the fact that he wasn't trying to insert himself and calling out the guys from the PBC that you're referring to?
No, the fact that he could fight the PBC guys by fighting Sean Porter in America proved that to me. There was no problems him getting fights with this guy. Did he go and try and... He should have fought Spence a long time before he did.
He was signed with Al Heyman then.
Look, he should have gone after Thurman. He should have gone after Thurman. He should have gone after Pacquiao. He should have gone after Spence. All these big guys.
So let's rewind history in real time for a second. Okay, let's rewind history in real time for a second. It's not that I'm not. Your opinion is your opinion, and I don't disrespect it at all because I think these people should have. Okay,
but
let me finish what I'm saying because I haven't gotten to that point yet. Okay, so you're saying he wasn't signed to the PBC. He had a belt. He was the number one contender, which is how he was signed to the PBC.
He was?
He was signed?
He was. Kell Brook was signed a month after the PBC launched. He stayed with Al as the American representative for 2.5 years, and then he bolted and went back to Eddie Hearn. But it's even if you go to even his box rec, he still, I think, has Kell Brook's name in there.
So, okay, leading back to that point. So he was signed with him. And he didn't call out anybody, which is where I'm siding with you on this, Stu. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like Al Heyman was trying to make any of those fights with him because he didn't fight anybody under PBC other than Sean Porter. But wasn't he the number one contender for that belt? Isn't that how he got that shot?
Yeah, he was the number one contender, right?
Okay, but that's the only reason why I got that one only fight. Now, as far as the rest
but then when he got the title, did he go on and try and be a great champion? No, he wasted my time with the Jojo Dans of this world.
With the mandatory contenders and the guys in the IBF.
They were only, but the thing is, they were mandatories because where was his voluntaries? His voluntary was fucking Frankie Gavin and people like that. So yeah, of course, he had a couple of voluntaries, but only because look, if he'd have gone on and fought a big guy, a unified title, they would have scrapped that mandatory. But because he was out there like looking to fight nobody, they forced it on him because otherwise he'd have just kept the belt in Sheffield fighting nobodies. Which he was doing. I mean, the IBF's the weakest division anyway at the time. I mean, look, if Jojo Dan is number one contender or anywhere near that, just shows you how weak the division is. Same with Bizier. I mean, the guy had no business being anywhere near that. So look, he's just to blame as the rest of them. When he had a chance to go and be great, what did he do? He hid in Sheffield fighting chumps.
Yeah, he hid behind and fought like lesser level fighters and didn't try and call it the champs.
Well, he did because. Yeah, because Al paid him, probably paid him good money, like all of them. If you look at that time period, 2015 to 2017, 2018, they were all fighting fucking nobodies. And what happened? The reason why there was no game plan, remember, Al had full intentions of taking it all over. That was his game plan. That's why he flooded the market in 2015, bought up every available time slot, filled it with irrelevant fights, with people who had no geographical relevance to that area because it didn't matter. He was just trying to put everybody out of business. Even Al Bernstein tweeted about it, admitted to that. So what happened when that failed? He was kind of like a rudderless ship, and he just started. Remember their motto was to get cable. I mean, the whole reason for the PBC, mind you, was to make boxing free again. Now it's the most expensive outfit to follow. Everything's on pay-per-view.
And then that's when their guys finally started to fight each other, when the ratings went down for them fighting nobodies, right?
Exactly.
Hey, Jimmy, there's some like crackling sound or some when you speak. There's like I don't know. Some
really?
Sound. Yeah, just drop out and go back in.
Apparently,
okay.
I hate Danny Garcia. In the chat, apparently, I hate Danny Garcia because he's Spanish.
You hate Danny Garcia.
Well, it sounds like you hate him, those two.
Spanish.
You don't give
That's
him any credit.
Reason. I love the way he fights. I love the way he always puts it on the line. I just don't like the fact that he's Spanish.
Hey, guys, did you see Garcia Sr. crying in the episode that they did on the TV?
No.
He was crying, I don't have to be poor no more. Oh, man, he had me shit in the tear, man. I felt so compassionate.
I don't have to be poor anymore.
It's funny.
I don't understand
all right, hold on.
Yeah.
Antoine Williams in the chat says, and this probably going towards Stu here, directed at Stu. Never seen so much hate for a dude that lost 2 split decisions. That's right. So it's close decisions too.
Who are you talking about?
No, it was a split or majority.
Hang on a minute. What? Danny's close decisions?
Yeah.
Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Which decisions are you on about? Is it the ones where he's robbed Herrera, where he fucking robbed Ashley Theopine? Where he fucking robbed this guy, robbed that Lamont Peterson. I mean, how many guys did this guy robbed?
I'll throw another.
Come on, man. Let's talk about close decisions, shall we?
I'll throw another Rob in there. Rob Salka, mismatch. Kerry Garcia.
Oh, remember that one, dude? He crippled that little fucking dude. He dragged him up 2 weight classes.
Yeah, it sparked him out cold.
That reminded me of Arturo Gatti, Joey Gamache. Remember that?
Yeah,
he's all about that. He's all about that cherry life.
It was that. I believe that might have been his last fight at 140. His next one was I think was after Selka was catchweight at 144 or something. But then he went up to welterweight. But again, he left all his power. He hasn't done anything. I mean, he stopped Granados through a combination of punches. You know what I mean? And he might have sparked that one bum. But anytime he's with anybody of note, I mean, did he even really hurt? Well, he kind of rocked Thurman a little in the first fight in 17, but I mean, his power's gone. It just doesn't knock people out.
How about the Richard Abreu fight in Puerto Rico, the big homecoming?
Herrera? When he rocked Herrera?
No, that was Herrera.
Richard Abreu.
No, it was Herrera.
Richard Abreu.
It was Herrera.
Yeah.
Herrera.
Cost that kid
Didn't
millions
Richard
of
Abreu
dollars.
That wasn't in Puerto Rico. That wasn't in Puerto Rico.
He wasn't even from Puerto Rico, bro. It was his
He doesn't
father
even speak
was,
Spanish.
like,
I mean,
I know that, and they were pissed too. They wrote about it in the paper. Because the guy, the number one boxing fighter.
They kept showing Danny Garcia's face as I'm coming home. Like Danny Garcia's from there.
Yo, if I was Danny Garcia, I would have tried to learn some Spanish just because I know I would have, gotten the Puerto Ricans on my side. Like that would have been.
This is where my father used to live. Like, yeah, that's
nothing. He met his grandmother. It was like he met a fucking package handler at the airport.
Yeah, Hey, fuck that shit. I don't know how to speak Spanish, so fuck all
with the Puerto Rican.
But nobody's saying, "Hey, D, let's make a fucking 30-minute video of you going back to the motherland."
These half Puerto Rican. These half
Puerto Rican. and they make a video of I'm coming home, like him in Puerto Rico. He's like, yo, I never even been here before.
Right.
After that night, the Puerto Ricans were calling Danny Garcia the All-American, weren't they? Fucking
well, the writer, there's a writer for the #1 newspaper. Well, it's in San Juan. It's the biggest newspaper. That writer has a really gravelly voice because he used to call the next round Steve Kim all the time. Remember that dude? Yeah.
Yes,
so he used to call all it. Yeah, exactly. And he eviscerated like fucking Danny in his paper. And it was on the front page. He said, he just talked about how this kid couldn't even take the time to learn a few fucking courtesy words in Spanish. How did you grow up in a Spanish neighborhood, in a Spanish household with the parents are bilingual and you can't speak a lick of it? So it was bad.
Americano. Jimmy, your mic's still doing some weird sounds sometimes.
Is it? Fuck.
I think it's your
dude,
earphones. I think you have earphones or headphones. That's probably what's doing.
I don't even know if Danny Garcia grew up in a Spanish neighborhood. I think he's from Strawberry Mansion, which is like anybody knows Philadelphia.
Well, he grew up in the projects.
Right. I think it's Strawberry Mansion he grew up in, which is not. It's not a Puerto Rican neighborhood.
Well, yeah, I know his dad went to prison for a few years for selling coke.
Yeah. Yep.
That's why he's all about that cherry life. Wrecking that Strawberry Mansion.
Yeah, right. But let me tell you something about Strawberry Mansion. There ain't no strawberries and there ain't no mansion in that fucking neighborhood.
I know they always name projects nice.
Hang on a sec, Jimmy. I see in the chat says that I can't even look at San Miguel in the shops. I hate Spain that much. I'm a big lover of San Miguel. I think it's a lovely part of life, especially in the sun when it's a nice hot day. Part of San Miguel, can't beat it. So, look, Danny Garcia. The reason I hate Danny Garcia is because the guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
The guy fails to deliver, and that's the only reason. He's never, he's just a guy that gets opportunity after opportunity, and always lose. He never gives it his all either. I can always accept when a fight goes in there, gives it his all. He's not good enough. But no, Danny's not that
good
guy.
Point.
Danny gives you.
You always feel cheated.
Huh?
I said you always feel cheated after watching one of his fights.
Bro, That's the words I was looking for. You just feel cheated when you watch this guy fight. It feels like he's just giving you half of what he's got. He never puts it on the line, does he?
Never.
But you know what? Like Dee brought a good point before. I mean, Spence just had an accident, so I mean, this is his comeback fight basically after a major accident, and he's taking on Danny Garcia. So it is kind of interesting just because of that, the accident, I believe.
I agree.
But should this be a pay-per-view?
No.
They're doing that to try to see how many people they could screw over. That's basically what they're doing.
And can I say something too, dude? Think about this, bro. Fox has already admitted they will not announce the pay-per-view buys, just like they haven't in the past. When they've been the carrier, they have not announced it. And funny thing too, speaking about pay-per-views, that kid Haymanites tweeted it out. Showtime, for the first time, didn't tweet out one of their pay-per-view numbers when it came to the fucking Davis one. In fact, the only one was Cop when he said what it was expected to sell. Now, people in the industry, everybody, talk around, they said somewhere between 90 and 130. That's where the average is. Remember, everybody's going with 200, 225 because what Cop said. But that's neither here nor there. I just want to get that out there. But yeah, they don't have Fox couldn't put it on paper if they put it on TV, right? The only money that would generate would be TV sales, commercials. They wouldn't even cover the purses. So, nobody was going to put up money for the fight. They have no platform. It has to go on pay-per-view.
Okay, but so it goes on pay-per-view, and are they making a profit out of this, or they're trying to break even?
Who knows? They're not going to fucking tell us. Fox said they're not going to tell. So if I was Bob, I'd be like, how are you going to tell us you're still doing well in your pay-per-views and again, everybody goes with 325 with him on Spence and with Garcia, Garcia. According to actual Nelson's ratings and all that other shit online, it was 275. So what I mean?
But Jimmy, you keep saying that the PBC is putting all these pay-per-views and they're not having very good numbers, right? So like, when does it end, or how does this work? Like, I don't understand. So
they might be making they're doing probably enough to cover the salaries of the fighters. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all it is. As long as Al gets his fucking
cut,
15 his cut, and the fighters are paid, he's not generating any profits to say like to have a bank to support something else. He has to do pay-per-view, and especially with this COVID shit. But now he's kind of pushed the fights off to the thing.
Do you know what the pay? I'm sorry, Jimmy. Do you know what the pay is for the Danny Garcia and Spence? Do you know what their guarantee is?
I don't know. I don't think they listed it. Somebody was saying it was under $3 million or like $2 million or something. I know. Put it this way: the last PBC, they just somebody tweeted out their fucking salaries. It was shockingly low for some pretty guys who you would put it this way: guys a couple of years ago probably would have got close to $1 million. We're getting 150,000.
So hold on. So the expected numbers, I don't know, for the Davis Santa Cruz fight, you said it was around 240 or above 200,000, right?
Yes, if you go online, it'll tell you 250, 230 to 250 because that's what, and they always quote Michael Koppenzinger, whatever.
Well, those are they were expected number. Like, I don't know how this works. Like,
and that's all it is. That's his tweet. He actually worded it like that. He goes, "This is expected. The pay-per-view numbers are expected to land somewhere between 300 and 200 and 225. Of course, that's what they were expected, but whatever. That's not what they did. So and if they did do that, Showtime would have tweeted it out. The reason why, now think about it. If Showtime would have co-signed that and said, yep, we sold 225,000, but only pay taxes on 110,000 of them, they could get screwed. So that's why they've been silent for the first time. There's a lot of shit.
So when is Showtime
going
to be like not satisfied with these pay-per-view numbers, or Fox? When do they say enough? When do they say, like, I mean?
Well, again, as long as people are buying, they're profitable in the way that everybody gets their slice, I think they'll continue to do it. It's actually up to the consumer. We have to say as fans, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make pay-per-view worthy, fights that aren't pay-per-view worthy.
Right. At some point, fans are going to.
And the thing is, we don't know what they are, though. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we don't even know what the numbers are because they're hiding them.
They've been hiding them for a while. I mean, Jimmy, tell me if I'm right on this. Has Showtime still ever to this day released the official numbers to Floyd Mayweather versus Robert Guerrero? The official numbers. Everyone says $1 million, but Dan Rafael was saying around maybe 850,000.
Yeah, that's what I heard. 800. Yeah.
And so
still
I
fucking
still
good.
to this day haven't heard. No, well, yeah, but this is back when Mayweather was saying that it doesn't matter. I can fight, a sixth grader and get 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Yes,
So
I
then
remember that. Yeah.
Guerrera, coming off of this big win, wasn't a huge win, but was a solid win against Andre Berto. And all of a sudden, it's a Mexican on, around Cinco de Mayo weekend, and it's Floyd Mayweather. This is going to do great. And I remember they were calling LRB out, and instead of just proving it, he's saying, I've got it right here. He's got a $32 million check. Don't tell me how to do my job. Just answer the fucking question. What was the numbers? And to this day, I don't know if they were ever fully released. They just said it was $1 million. So, Jimmy, can you validate that from your resources?
I the same thing as you guys. I heard it was nowhere near $1 million. I actually heard it was fucking 730. I think was what the final number was on that. But they were never going to say. If people really want to know, just go to his LLC, find out whoever was the fucking carrier the LLC was under, and find out the taxes were paid on it. Because you could actually, make the correlation to how many were sold. If somebody, had the access to fucking that shit.
So this PBC frenzy might continue until throughout 2021.
Well, they have no choice, right, dude? I mean, think about it. They're gonna have. And wait a minute, has Showtime done any fights yet? Not on pay-per-view yet.
Boxing is heading in the really wrong direction. I think
wrong direction with the pay-per-views too. Yep.
Yeah,
and Showtime hasn't announced
now they got
the package.
Jimmy. Here's the thing. Now, without the crowds to generate money from the gate, they're gonna put a lot of these fights on pay-per-view.
Yeah, but
I think you're gonna start seeing a lot of promoters follow that trend just to make money
until the demand starts to shrink, right? And then they're gonna wake up and go like, okay, we overdid this pay-per-view thing because it is. I mean, how many times can we pay for this crap? And by the way, the PBC. So the Charlos, are they gonna become regular pay-per-view stars? Tank Davis gonna become pay-per-view exclusive now? Like, are all these?
They're saying he is. I know Mayweather's saying he's a pay-per-view player now, and that, you know what I mean. But even Mayweather wouldn't actually quote the numbers. You go through his Twitter account, he never even retweeted Cop's 250. So Showtime was silent on it. Everybody was silent on it. Charlo would have to.
Mayweather also said he made $9 million fighting Sean Mitchell on regular HBO. I haven't believed a word that boy said since I met him since he was training in my gym for the '96 Olympics. So so what he says and what's reality isn't necessarily the same thing. But I'm sorry. I'm going to digress. I'm going to back off for a second because we're not talking about Mayweather in that whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, we're going.
Well, even Charlos, you just mentioned Charlos, Bucho. Yeah, Charlos would have to, but now how long has it been since that fight, right? That's been what, a month, 2 months? A couple of months, right? Almost.
August? It was in late August, early September.
Late August. So what's September, right? I mean, we're in November. And there's not even talk of who they're going to fight.
We're almost
exactly. Right now, in a normal time, you would already have the next opponents lined up. You'd already be talking about signing them. The reason why they're not even in the conversation because they don't have a fucking platform to put it on because Showtime hasn't announced their spring fling. And who knows? With COVID, Showtime might turn around and say, you know what? We're just going to get out of it. What happens then? Now they're all going to be struggling for just get them on those Fox slots.
Good point.
Everything will be.
You know what, Teofimo, whether we like it or not, whether we like his opponent, the guy he's facing, what's his name, Comboso, whatever. They already announced this fight, and it wasn't that long ago when Teofimo fought Lomachenko, and now we already know who he's going to fight after that. So
because he's with a real promoter who has financial money.
Exactly, the momentum keeps going.
In a moment.
Yeah.
So I got to jet pretty soon. So if I can just close with this idea, I'd really appreciate it, guys. This has been going on since pay-per-view first kind of really started to take off all around the country. Who could get into it? My hometown, we didn't really start to get regular pay-per-view. Like you said, to get the box a week in advance, if that tells you how old I am. But like Genaro Hernandez, Bob Arum made a living off of putting him on pay-per-view on a regular basis of $200,000 a fight. Same with Johnny Tapia, and it's been going on for years. What's going on now is the fact since there's no live audience, this is the only way for them to make money, and will finally eventually, like we're trying to say, it's more likely eventually going to implode. And what it will work in is when we do have live audiences and TV back again, the promoters are gonna have to force real cards on TV. Fighters are going to have to admit the fact they're not going to make the $10 million a fight until they've earned it. And the sport should make a healthy recovery. But as they not unrivaled, one of the gentlemen said it's heading in the wrong direction right now. It's going to take something like this to fix it, right it on track. On that note, I have to go. Thank you for having me on, and you guys have a good night.
All right, take care.
Good night, brother.
I was gonna say, all right. So if COVID and the crowd, are forcing fighters, basically, okay, then fighters should take a pay cut. Then I mean, if the
I understand. No, I understand what you're saying. They should, but I remember we were talking about this. I was like, how many are really gonna do it though? They'll be like, all right, I'll take a pay cut.
They have a contract, right?
For lesser competition, no problem. I'll do that. You know, but if you want me to fight, let's say you want me to fight Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder in a third rematch. No, I'm not gonna fucking fight for half the pay that I got before. I'll fight for half the pay versus a nobody, but not, you know, not the guy that I know I can make the maximum money for. And it's gonna take a while for these people to understand that. But at the same time, you could understand where guys are like, look, man, fuck all this shit. If we're not even supposed to be next to each other, why should I sell myself out for a fight that I know that I can make $20 million with the crowd and everything versus $10 million? You know what I'm saying?
But the problem is, bro, they're waiting too long. Those crowds aren't even going to be there. Listen, NFL saw it. Major League Baseball saw it. Well, they're pulling a stupid message too, right? Yeah, I know. I'm saying what you're saying, but these guys, honestly, the promoters, like the reason why Bob's talking like this too, like they all know it. There needs to be a shakeup. Bob talks about it a lot of time. You listen on podcasts. The whole industry, those numbers of just a couple of years ago aren't going to fly anymore. And we were all talking about it 2 years ago. How long do the sports think it's going to survive? And these guys are going to get millions of dollars for not taking the risks. And this whole fucking letting shit marinate, like that just wouldn't even have happened before. Like you would have been just eviscerated by the whole community when two of the best didn't fight. I mean, fuck. I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard came out of retirement to do the fight because he got tired of hearing about it.
Hey Jimmy, baseball's back to random drug testing again. I was going to tell you.
Oh, for the steroids?
Yep, for anything, right? PEDs, whatever. They're back doing it. They already caught 2 guys.
Yeah, you recognize. Be careful because BDA, the staff is getting also blood tests. So you better be careful.
Baseball was never. Hey, listen, you got to admit it, dude. Baseball, for me, was at its best when they were all saucing out of their minds. Remember Barry Bonds fucking swelled up and all those dudes hitting 50, 70 home runs?
That guy that
he was the greatest baseball player. When he was like that, he was the greatest baseball player I've ever seen. Ever seen.
Their thighs were 32 inches.
Dude,
what was his name?
What he could do to a ball. If you pitch anywhere, if you made one mistake, he was like a magnet. That ball was out of there.
All right, guys, I want to get this Greco. Are you there? He's been waiting a long time.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I just want to talk about how great is the welterweight division, and I want to talk about Kell Brook is against Crawford and what his physical, how good was he during there? I just want to start with that.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about politics. I hate talking politics, boxing. It's a very deep hole. I don't like going to. So, okay, the welterweight division. The question is the welterweight division today have an all-time great stack like the 90s, 70s? I always compare it to the previous generation. So I'm just gonna ask: Can anyone in the welterweight division even beat the late 2000 like Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao?
No.
Those guys probably win against all of them. Yeah.
Well, then again, I don't think Mayweather was even a welterweight then, but his
Well, in
style.
the late
No,
2000s, no, in the late 2000s, he started fighting at the welterweight. Jimmy.
Oh, really? I thought he was still fighting at like 135, 140.
Remember, he fought Oscar De La Hoya in the late 2000s. That was at 154. He fought.
Wasn't it like 2008? Am I wrong?
Something
Maybe
like that.
2007. Yeah, I could be wrong.
2008. 2008.
Don't count on me with the
2007,
dates,
Ricky
dude. I'm a
Hatton.
fucking zipperhead.
No, I think you might be right. He fought De La Hoya in 2008 or 2007.
No, 2007.
2007. Okay, yeah. So you close enough.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I think Floyd would have avoided Spence or Crawford, but go ahead.
Yeah, there's certain guys that would have gave him a good fight. Like I'm not gonna sit here.
No,
and say
he wouldn't have fought them though.
Let's say Earl Spence had the cash to he had the reputation to make a good fight, and Floyd would have fought him. It would have been a good fight. Yeah, I think Floyd wins on points.
Yeah, like I just want to talk about how sad is the welterweight division. Like Pacquiao at 40 years old, he did better than anyone else in the division between 2016 till like 2019 before when he fought Thurman. And other than Thurman, the best guy in the welterweight division that has the next best resume is Sean Porter. Yordenis Ugas and Danny Garcia is better than anything Spence did or Crawford did.
Well, look, give Spence some credit. He beat Sean Porter.
There is an instance where beating Sean Porter elevates someone, but do we actually believe that Yordenis Ugas, Sean Porter separated himself from Yordenis Ugas?
No. In terms of performance, no, I wouldn't. Because it was that kind of fight. It was. I mean, you could say, you can. There's people that thought Porter won that fight.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, I scored it for you guys by 1 round.
And also, I just want to talk about Kell Brook since, like, I've argued with Crawford fans, and sometimes Crawford fans just are so obnoxious. So,
hey, fuck you! I'm just kidding, brother. I'm just totally kidding.
No. I'm just talking about the instance where, like,
I just busted your stomach, kid.
I like Crawford. He entertains me. I just don't like him outside the ring. And his fans also, like, they talk about Kell Brook being the same instance like when Gennady Golovkin fought him, or when Sean Porter fought him, or when Spence fought him. That's not true. After the fight, after Crawford knocked Kell Brook out, I watched Sean Porter versus Kell Brook and Errol Spence versus Sean Porter just to study how strong Kell Brook was. Sean Porter ragdolled Kell Brook ragdolled Sean Porter shoulder to shoulder during the clinch. Their strength gap was that wide. Kell Brook was just too big for Sean Porter. But ever since
too strong, I wouldn't say too big. He was too strong.
But Carl, can I say to you too? Also, part of Brook's problem. Listen, Brook is one of those dudes who's always got his shirt off. Right, he's a dude who loves his abs, works out definitely. His shoulders, he has way too much muscle on his shoulders. So he could muscle dudes around in a clinch. That won't surprise me. He's fucking got thick traps and shoulders. But that takes a lot off on your punches. So it's counterproductive.
But before the Spence fight, Jimmy, Kell Brook was known to like go 12. He doesn't have any stamina problems until the Spence fight. He drained down.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Big shoulder fighters, dudes with big shoulders, a lot of muscles on the shoulder. They're better with short punches, short range fighters. And if you look at Porter smothers that. He has the right idea, but you can see he still lands his punches, don't get me wrong, but kind of smothers his work. And he takes away. I think if he learned how to throw his punches with accuracy, according to his style and the way he's built, he would have more power to it. But
brother,
look. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, look at fucking AJ, man.
Go ahead, Jim.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, AJ. Look at he took the lesson after he fought Ruiz. I think the day of the fight, he was doing an Instagram show, like in a tank top to sell some muscle product.
Yeah.
And you can see him, like, this dude, he was so into his body because, I mean, he's a fucking, freak of nature. You can't help it, I mean, who wouldn't be that way, right? It must have been hard for him to take muscle off. And just for him to do that, to take that discipline, say, you're right. I got to go against my own fucking, because believe me, you feel better when as a man to look that way. He took like 10 pounds off each shoulder. And look at how much more smooth he was against Ruiz.
Yes, because he wanted to fight him long distance. Yep.
But you know what? Recognize you know what's the trip about that? If he would be more polished, maybe in a weird way, he would take more punches. And the fact that he smothers his work and it's kind of awkward doesn't allow other fighters to make contact with him because he's so like in between, coming and going. And since he don't hit that hard, by him smothering himself, maybe he doesn't allow other fighters to.
Who are you talking about, Gonzalo?
Sean Porter.
Oh, man, God bless the kid. I like him. I like him as a dude. I really think one of the best people in boxing, his father. I mean, so seriously, that's from the bottom of the heart. I don't rate that kid high. I think he's terrible form. He does everything bad. He throws.
Do you think that kind of helps him in a weird way?
Of course, he's awkward to fight, but dude, when he throws punches, when you twist with a punch, your elbow. I've heard Stu talk about it, but all you guys, your elbow. This you talk about the 6-inch punch. The longer you keep that elbow to your side of your body onto the liver, like Marvin Hagler, those slow-mo picture. You see him. He's 6 inches. His glove 6 inches away from the dude's chin, and his elbow's still against his lats. He's ready to boom, drive that fucking punch through. That's how you throw a fucking punch. And but anyways, that's my fucking sorry.
Look, I'm not saying be like Mike Tyson, but you see how Mike Tyson used to get leverage. He didn't smother his punches. He's kind of got like Sean Porter for a welterweight kind of has that kind of build in a way. And what he does, we all know that Mike Tyson fighting big guys, he's better on the inside, but he never smothered his punches. You know what I'm saying? He always gave his punches room to land.
He has no distance, bro. That's what it is.
Right.
He's never learned distance. He's never learned distance. That's entrenched in you as a kid. Yeah, he didn't even fight in the gloves, did he? I mean, if he did, he couldn't have fought many fights. It's just the basics he seems to get wrong a lot. The fucking throwing punches from the wrong angle off the wrong foot. I understand it keeps people it throws them off, but yeah, he doesn't know distance. He just smothers his work. He bulldogs people in there. He just fucking overpowers them, and she's a strong. And again, no disrespect. I like the kid a lot. I don't think he's good at all.
He's not. I'm not a fan either.
Sorry, man, just not.
I mean, I give him props. He's courageous. He's a valiant fighter. Okay, that's good.
What does he do good? What the fucking name one thing Sean Porter does well?
He has a nice
leaping
jab.
left hook.
You sounded like somebody's uncle. Well, the kid has a nice jab, dude.
He has a nice jab. Yeah, his jab against Ugas was not bad, man. He did pretty good in that one. There's certain things. He's obviously very effective. He's so strong, right? Like nobody could blow him out. He
goes to show you effectiveness and talent is. You know what I mean? You can be effective. You just listen. He takes his attributes, dude, and he gets the most out of them. And I think he's a great kid, got a great head on his shoulder. I think he's going to be fucking good for his community. I like everything about Sean Porter except for his talent in the ring.
Sean Porter has a underrated jab because it's quick, right? And he finds a target. Then he does decent body work. I mean, he smothers his work when he gets inside because he's too close up on the guy. He can't get the punches off, but when he creates a little distance on the inside, he does decent with the body work, and he has a pretty fast jab. So I would say that's the only thing he does well. I mean, he explodes inside well.
I know this guy's a bum. When he fought him, Casamayor, when Timothy Bradley fought Casamayor, he was a bum. But like, here's a guy that kind of like throws haymakers. But you saw when he shortened up his punches because Timothy Bradley sort of built in similar stature as Sean Porter, and you can see that he understood that to be effective, he needed some good distance on how to throw those punches to the body, and he did it. And he also did it against Brandon Rios, who's fucking washed up. But it's possible.
He was drunk the night before.
Yeah, he probably was. But my point
What a
is,
mess.
is that there's a way to do it. I don't know if Sean Porter. I don't know if Sean Porter cares to do it, but he's still very effective. I like his jab, and like D said, that he does do some good body work.
Bradley's an interesting one. He never had a high KO ratio. He couldn't really hit that hard, but he always hit hard enough to keep people honest, right? He was like no feather fisted guy either, right? Wasn't he? Because he would keep good fighters honest in there, right?
Right. And Porter, what I think about Porter too.
I'm just gonna say that's it. I want one more thing. I will always thank Sean Porter. Okay. Before I go, I'm just gonna say I will always thank Sean Porter for knocking Malignaggi out when during that time Malignaggi claimed that he could beat Pacquiao.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Flawless victory. Remember Paulie accused him of taking steroids?
But with Porter, right, you can use somebody who's lacks talent in a certain way. They'll tend to fight down to their opponents because they almost don't have their own style as much. He's actually I was kind of more impressed recently, like he's actually kind of incorporating, because he wouldn't even go good jab fight to fight. Some fights, anyways, I don't go off on that, but dude, the kid went life and death with Granados. I mean,
yeah, he did.
He went life and death with that kid. That's fucking. Granados. Let's be clear, kid. A fighter's fighter. Kid will take a fight. I wouldn't want to tackle with that kid on the street because you'd have to kill him. But that fucking kid's just a gatekeeper at best, and the dude went life and death with him. So that's something like, okay, Spence beat him, but Spence beat a dude who went life and death with Granados. I think lost to Ugas. I don't know. I don't know.
He's along the same realm as Danny Garcia, man. To be honest, even maybe Danny Garcia's a better boxer, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, of course he is. He's been doing it since he was 7. You know what I mean? So you just learn it's become second nature. It's just not. You can tell he focused on wrestling and football. You know what I mean? Boxing is one of the few sports you got to give it your all because it's got to be second nature. Because if it isn't, you can't think. Because when you're on Queer Street, when you're literally out on your feet and you have to react, everything's reactionary. You're not even really. So if it's not second nature, you're lunch meat in there.
I think Sean Porter said that he benched 350 pounds one time. I believe it.
That's a lot.
Of course he did. For that frame, that's a hell of a lot.
Yep.
Especially for a young kid.
Yep. But he did it exactly what you said. He did it when he was young too. He did it high school.
Yeah, football. Fucking dude. He was with the team, probably at the screaming, headbutting the lockers, pumping each other up. He was an athlete, you know what I mean?
But also he's got the short arms. It's easier for somebody to bench like that, right, Jimmy?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Sure. Learn how to... Yeah, with barrel-chested people who have shorter arms is less distance. So yeah, narrow-chested, long-armed dudes have a lot of travel.
There's a certain way to do bench presses to learn how to shorten up your punches and get a lot of power to it. I'm surprised. Maybe he has, but he just smothers his work. It's like you said, Jimmy. He has no concept of timing and range.
Timing and range, and again to the bench press, like you said, he did a lot of bench pressing, and you can see it because he almost throws his punches in a bench press motion.
Exactly.
And he fucking bench pressing because it locks you in. It's like if you're gonna use that exercise, unless you're using it as a powerlifting motion like you do deadlifts, squats, and benching. Those are the three, work the most muscle. But if you're doing it as a regular training exercise, it's one of the worst things you can do, especially for a fighter. You want to use dumbbells to get the full extension and stretch on the bottom, stretching your rib cage, stretching your shoulder joints. You don't want anything mechanically locking you in. And then it's even worse. I see kids doing it on the Smith machine. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're just making yourself a robot. But anyway,
it's true. That's 100% true. Yep.
And fucking again.
So you're right about that. You're right about Sean Porter. He does throw punches like a guy who's bench pressing. maybe I don't want to diss him too much, but I'm surprised
because he's a good kid, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to say shit about him because he's such a good kid.
But you could see him trying it. It's just that he don't understand. Timing was something he never really practiced on. I'm gonna say that.
Can I just say this, dude, to you, bro? On all kidding aside, in a street fight, Sean Porter destroys every welterweight on the planet. No, seriously, in a street fight, he would wrap those dudes up, whip them to the cement, and headbutt their skulls in. You know what I mean? Because he can tell it was a wrestling shit. So on the street, he takes them all out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree with that.
Sean Porter might actually do some good in the UFC.
I've said that too, bro. I've tweeted that. If there's a fighter who would absolutely transition the easiest in MMA with just some minimal training, it would be Sean Porter. First off, he would own the fucking division in boxing, so everybody would go for leg kicks and go for his feet. But he was a wrestler, so I guarantee he can protect against the fucking dive. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, I think he would transition well.
Two guys.
I hope he does it.
Guys, we have a phone call.
South of the light heavyweight division that always strike me as great street fighters: Sean Porter and, believe it or not, Tank Davis.
Maybe Lomachenko too, right? Because he would.
Well, Lomachenko
be like,
because he wrestles, but I'm talking about like just the street mentality. I don't think Lomachenko doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. I'm talking about like just have the savagery of like bum rushing you and destroying you. Sean Porter and fucking Tank Davis. Look how Tank Davis attacks people.
Yeah. Hey, dude, can I tell you, as someone who boxed for years, I trained boxing. When I fucking tried MMA, like fucking around sparring, dude, I was same thing every boxer falls for. Those leg kicks are deadly.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not expecting it, and they fucking suck. Anyways, Bucho, I cut you off. Go, brother.
No, so we have a phone call. 510, you're on the air. 510. Go ahead.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Ross Clot. Thank you for having me. This is now the Ross Clot Show.
Right.
I'm glad to have you guys on my show.
Fantastic.
Well, hey,
take it away.
Listen, don't be shy, brother. Seriously, break out of it. Come on.
Yeah, I want my money. I want my money for hosting your show, man.
Fight. Go ahead.
Hey, what's the topic, guys?
Oh my God!
Always. Where are we now? I mean, what do you want to talk? Is this welterweight division hyped, overrated, underrated?
Shout out! I want to give a special shout out to Sporting Advantage. He's keeping it down in the chat for me, making sure that those faggots aren't, getting out of line. Shout out to Sporting Advantage.
You monetize and get him a strike.
Yeah.
Save that shit for another fucking podcast.
Okay, well,
we.
He's talking about cigarettes.
My language. I would like to thank Sporting Advantage for keeping the men in the chat room who are attracted to other men in line.
There you go, brother. You can say it's just that one word, dude. But dude, there's a computer. I don't know if you know this. Listen, the people that listen, there's a computer that's tagged. That's one of the words.
This is.
And you don't care.
Let me say something real quick. This really isn't a really good era in welterweights, in my opinion, and I think we kind of overrate this era. I mean, when you think about it, someone like, let's say, Danny Garcia, I mean, you look at him, he has, like, literally hasn't stopped anyone at 147, yet it's such a big deal for these welterweights to have a victory over him. Like, that's how sad this division is. It's like, I mean, who do we got? Like, Lipinets, I mean, I can't even name none of these guys. Like, it's not exciting. You got Keith Thurman. He went and got married and then turned into a diva. Came back, almost got his ass whooped by Lopez. Then he gets beat up by a 55-year-old Manny Pacquiao. Like, this isn't really the most stacked welterweight division to me. And in my opinion, I don't see any future Hall of Famers unless it's Terrence Crawford. And I'm just being real. It can't even be Sean Porter. Sean Porter is the guy who loses his big fights. Sean Porter's best win at 147 is Danny Garcia.
Hey, Ross Clot. Actually, Danny Garcia stopped. He stopped Paulie Malignaggi, Vargas, Brandon Rios, and Adrian Granados at 147. Actually, stopped 4 people at 147.
Are they all are any of them natural 147 pounders?
No, I'm just saying. You say he didn't stop anyone. He actually stopped four guys.
You could add 3 and make maybe 1. Rios literally had a fucking raging coke problem. He was a bag of gray flesh when he stepped into the ring.
I mean, if you want to get technical.
He fucking stopped him. I don't care about all these.
Yeah, I mean,
He stopped 4 guys.
Yes, because my thing, because in my opinion, Danny Garcia's power is overrated. And like, let's be real, if Spence didn't have this accident, no one would be calling this fight 50-50. It would be a straight steamroll for Errol Spence, and y'all know it. He will walk over Danny Garcia had he didn't have this accident. Now it's a guess because we don't know what he's like.
He's gonna walk over him anyway.
Let's just be honest.
He'll walk over him anyway. I think. I don't give a. He could have had that accident last month. He's gonna beat Garcia.
Good point.
Right.
He could have come walking from the accident.
I flipped over my car. Don't sleep on Danny Garcia. I'm telling you, bro.
Unless his leg's broken, he's not going to catch Spence. He's just not going to be able to catch him with that prodding left hand.
Yeah.
Telegraphed.
Yeah. Recognize that's your Puerto Rican.
Yeah, and
that's my Puerto Rican blood talking right there.
Yeah, exactly, man. Come on.
Yeah, because when I was looking at Spence train, it looked like Spence was training with 18-ounce gloves, so maybe he's working on speed. And I honestly don't see him doing anything but just trying to stay away and win a 12-round decision. Like,
was he sparring with 18?
Outbox Danny Garcia.
Hey, recognize. I'm willing to give Ruben Villa the benefit of the doubt. Verdejo, maybe even Berlanga, but Danny Garcia, fam, I just can't give it to him, dog.
I'm telling you, man.
The benefit of the doubt, fam.
It's always the weird light-skinned Puerto Rican dude that could fight the most. So he has more to prove.
It always is, dude. But listen, those Philadelphia boys are just tough. They really are. They always got
something to prove too.
And he fights in that Philly style. To throw back to Joe Louis. He is a little white Joe Louis. He fights just like him. My God.
He's a certified asshole, though. So I mean,
dude, he fucking takes pictures and. He's taking pictures in his monogrammed underwear and putting it online.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something, Jimmy? While back, this was a while back, or maybe mid to late 2000s. I met Danny Garcia. I was in Philly because I have like friends and family members that live over there, and so I met the kid. I met him. He was promoting his he had a fight coming up. He had an amateur fight coming up. One of these, I want to say like high school gyms or some shit like that. And he was real nice. He was real cool and everything, man.
Yeah, he's probably the nicest kid in the family, dude. Look at the rest of those fucking dummies. Listen, all you got to do is follow the sisters. You go to their Instagram. Because I wanted to see what, the general gist after she crashed her motorcycle saying, this is how we grew up. So I went to their, then I got, it was a train wreck. Dude, they get eviscerated. People don't like them sisters. They got, from the Spanish community coming at them, and I think they definitely have an attitude of like they're better than everybody. And Danny's become kind of a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
And I just don't rate him. Literally.
Happy. I think he's just happy he got out of the ghetto.
Rascals, anything else?
Oh man, I was just calling to say that because I think that everybody is tripping on what's going to go on with Spence. And I'll be honest with you, I personally don't think Spence is going to be the same guy. I don't think he's going to fight the same. If he does, I'll be really surprised. I mean, the type of injury he had, replaced.
What did he have?
Broken.
How do you know what he had? Rascal, how do you know what he had? I'm seriously asking because I don't even know.
That's why he had broken teeth and face lacerations. That's the injuries he had.
Okay.
Yeah.
No shoulder injuries, like major.
Broken jaw.
He had a lot of injuries. I don't know. All I can say is we don't know. And again, this era of welterweight is so weak. I wouldn't be surprised if Spence can defeat, Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia and all of them. But Spence is not going to beat Crawford before the accident or after the accident. It's just not going to happen. He cannot beat Crawford.
All right, man.
No way.
All right, thanks for calling, Rascal.
Oh,
Oh yeah, real quick.
What
Let me just say, thanks for having me on. And it's a lot of people in the chat room that's talking a lot of smack about me. And I just want to say, man, I'm sorry for having your mother butt naked in my van. You can tell that bitch to get out of my van now.
All right.
Oh, Roscoe's coming hot.
Yeah, Rascal, somebody called you a dirty thug on the chat, man. That's not cool, my friend.
Yeah, you gotta respect the chat.
Take a shower.
Oh, fuck this chat. Fuck the chat. No, I'm joking.
Who said that, Bucho?
No, I'm joking.
No, I don't fucking.
All right, guys. You know what? Let's call it a day, man. Let's keep it under 3 hours. That way,
let's call it a night. Hey, how you like my profile? How you like my profile pic?
Yeah, what is that? It's an elevator.
That's me on top of an elevator.
That's crazy.
No, yeah, dude, I was trying to figure out what it was the whole time I'm talking. But when you talk, it blinks. I'm like, is that it? That looks like the roof of an elevator. Is that what it is, dude?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
He was in the towers in 9/11. He just don't want to tell us, man.
Oh. Teofimo Lopez. I just wanted to say that. Teofimo Lopez.
Are you excited about his next fight?
I mean, come on, D. Tago. I mean, not Tago. Cambosos Jr. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna come to fight, but he's gonna get his ass whipped. Look,
I'm excited.
The dude had a mediocre performance. Yeah, he is. He had a mediocre performance against Lee Selby, so that tells it all. Teofimo's gonna destroy him.
He's gonna destroy him, and that's what this is about. And he's gonna go in. And he's going to spark this fucking kid out, and it's going to make even more people talk about him, especially casuals. I think it's a smart.
He's going to do it for $10 million.
What's that?
I said, and he's going to do it for $10 million.
$10 million?
The Aussies are paying him lovely. Nah, it's not Bob. It's the Australians. He's going to fly over there and fight him.
Yeah, but who negotiates that? That's his.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I mean, it's not hard to negotiate $10 million when Devin Haney's only offering $4 million. I mean, that's easy negotiation. We'll take it.
That's a good point.
So apparently he was Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner for a while. So I guess the guy can take a punch because he kept calling him back. So we'll see.
Yeah, but when was he his sparring partner back in the 2000s or?
He's been sparring with him for a minute. He just did an interview.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying.
No. Actually, Demi, he's been sparring with him for a while. He just came on Punch Drunk's Boxing and he was doing the interview. He's actually been sparring with Manny for a while. Manny's been over there to Australia working with him and everything. So,
what I meant by my point was Pacquiao hasn't.
Did we lose Jimmy?
Yeah.
Jimmy's
gone out.
We lost him. All right, fuck it. Guys, let's end the show. Let's go let him know.
He's still frozen, look.
Yeah, oh, fuck.
I don't know what the fuck happened.
He went into another dimension. But anyways, guys, thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. Take care.
We'll see you next time. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.
Oh, guys, in the chat, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out the BDA store that we got going. Let me just show you. There you go. I have a link. We have some merchandise, so check it out. There's one I really like. It's the what is it? I'm crazy. No, crazy wins. No, crazy is good. Crazy wins fights. That's a good design. Yeah, this one. Check it out, guys. The link is in the description. And we will see you next time. Take care.
Disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why. It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed those fucking men.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.